Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the CrossFire podcast tonight. We are running a little bit late, but definitely going to be a treat for everybody. We've got a great guest on tonight. I'm really excited to have him with us. I'm going to go down the list of usual suspects for intros. The infamous Crap Gamer, who showed up at 7:31 tonight, which is technically on time, according to me. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? I am actually very glad to be here. Como estas, bitches? What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are all ready for a fucking very good show. I'm very excited about the guest and everything, and we got actually a lot of good news to talk about.
This is a buffet tonight, guys. And Crap, we're gonna get into your videos because you've been just stellar, bro.
I got mayonnaise on me still, man. So
yes, when you said that, I was actually driving back from the city today, and I almost swerved off the road. But thank you.
It's a little bit crusty, but I celebrate in a weird way. You know,
it's okay. It's okay. Nowadays we can just envision that. We're gonna move on to the next man, which is the graphic god, Jay Williams. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Well, Jay, you've become a mini celebrity, buddy. There's people that I haven't even met yet on Twitter or YouTube, and they're like, Mooch, have you heard of this graphic god? I'm like, yeah, I've heard of him. He's all right. He's not bad.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he makes us all look good. We get it, buddy.
He sounds like he's in a submarine, though. He's like,
wait a minute. Don't take my... Yeah, I just got back up from Zero Bubble.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if anybody heard me on Crap Show on Wednesday, I re-listened to the show. God, I sounded awful. I apologize. I was on the road.
Mooch said I sounded good before the show started. So.
No, he sounds fine. You're fine, buddy. Don't worry about it. Crap's a perfectionist, so we have to understand that. Take it with a grain of salt. And then we've got my buddy who's on the world tour this week, XBot 448, not to be confused with 814. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, man? As usual, I am completely hyped to be here. Woke up this morning like it's Crossfire Friday.
I love it, buddy. It's my show, and I love how you give me my pep rally. I really do appreciate that, bro. Thank you. And then I've got my good friend, Rand Al. I'm not leaving Twitch. What's up, buddy? How are you tonight?
What's up, people? It's Rand L 419. My popular request.
Very nice.
Xbot wanted me to do the intro that way. What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy? I'm really glad you came out tonight. Like I say, tonight's going to be a buffet of just it's a plethora of news that hit in the past. Usually between Crap's show and mine, we've got to kind of filter through, and I got to change the subject line here and there and try to manipulate a different kind of subject. Here we've just got so much to dive into, but now the real treat for everybody. Anyone who's listening, if you haven't gotten a chance yet, his Twitter is aka_Scratch. Scratch, welcome to the show tonight, bro. I really appreciate you taking your time to meet with us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Listen, I ran into you by accident just, years ago, right? Just on Twitter, just going through, seeing you on YouTube. I said, this guy's doing instructional videos. And then I got a real chance to dig in and find out of all your accolades and the things that you've gotten through the years with the Xbox program. Scratch, if you don't mind, and I don't mean to put the hot lamp on you first and foremost, but I want a lot of people to know who you are and where they can find you. And how did you, by the way, just so everyone knows, Scratch is an ambassador on the Xbox team, and he's also an MVP, which I just found out before the show that MVP trumps ambassador. Don't tell anybody that's actually in our armed services. They may not agree with that. But, my point being is that we want to know, how did you kind of get into it, and how did you get to MVP? What happened? How did this all begin?
Yeah, so, I didn't do it alone. There's a lot of cool people that I associate with that, kind of just help me do the things that I do, I guess. But really what it all boils down to is I'm pretty normal. I've been on the Xbox forum since like 2005, and so I kind of am just. I always look at it like by default. I think other people probably look at me differently than I look at me, but.
I found that to be one of your strongest suits, though, Scratch, because the reason I was so able to approach you, just so you know, if anybody likes the way I'm sounding today versus when I was on Craft Show, Scratch just helped me out in picking out a great mic. Scratch, you're very, very approachable, and I think that's what makes you such a great person on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I try to be, because I know, like, when I first started out on the forums, a lot of the moderators that were there, because I moderate on the Xbox forums as well, and a lot of those people that were there, they were the same way, and just, just kind of nice to me and stuff, and so it just kind of boiled from there. I think I've been moderating since, like, 2009, somewhere around there, and Ambassadors was kind of That was actually started by Trixie360, the use of the word Xbox ambassador. But back then, it was basically like a cool kids club on the forums for no other, for lack of a better word. It was basically like if you were if you were on the forums and you were, decent person, like decent to people, you weren't a troll or whatever, like you would get awarded with like this wreath, the wreath that we have. And then when Trixie left Xbox or whatever, the program kind of became stagnant for a while. And then I don't know if maybe you guys remember the Xbox Experts. That was like Microsoft's first, sort of foray into, like community-based peer support, which is what the ambassador team is now. And so I've kind of been there since the beginning of it. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I'd be very special otherwise.
But Scratch, the interesting part is, how did Microsoft absorb what you just classified as what was just a forums cool kids club? How did it go from that to Microsoft kind of putting their arms around, say, we want to bring you guys in?
So yeah, because basically what happened is they started this experts program, and it was basically they used MSN Messenger and created like an app to like connect gamers with other gamers who had support questions. And then basically what ambassadors do is basically just help people with like support-based types questions. Not just support. I mean, it could be like questions about anything. Like, typically it's support, I guess, but. And they had these, and they had the experts doing it, and they were trying to, flesh it out, and they were trying to get, just trying to get, traction with it, trying to get people into it or whatever. And so they kind of discovered the ambassador program, and I remember having talks about it where I was talking to one of the guys that had started that back up when the experts was. I was like, the ambassadors are basically just a group of people with a private forum that don't really have any sort of support or direction, and they were all chosen for being good, so they'd be like the perfect candidate to like fill this in.
Can I ask you a question, Scratch? I get emails all the time. I joined when that ambassador program came out. I got an email. This is a ways back. I mean, well over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, and I signed up. But I think you had to do certain curriculum to maintain that ambassador status, which I did some, didn't do all of them. So I figured at one point I was out. But just yesterday, or day before yesterday, I got another one. I got to send it to you. I'll send you a copy of what I got, and take a look at. I don't even know if I'm an ambassador. Am I an ambassador if I'm getting these Xbox ambassador emails, or no? Not necessarily.
You certainly could be. It's kind of changed. They've changed how they do it. And I say they because I'm just a user like everybody else. I don't really like, and just to be clear, I guess, disclaimer time, I don't speak for the program or have any, but
we got to do that.
I can totally give you my community perspective of it because, like I said, I've seen it. But they've changed. So basically they went, like before it was just helping, and then they moved on to like, you can earn like XP. There's like an XP system, and they kind of like gamified it, right? Like, so then you can get like, you can earn XP for like completing chats, quizzes. Like the quizzes that they have in the program will like teach you, basically like give you knowledge about like what happens when somebody gets their account hacked. You know what I mean? Like, and it'll tell you like what are these steps. Like, or if somebody's complaining about being banned, like where do they go for like a recourse of action, like if they think it's unfair or whatever.
Okay.
And so if anybody's listening, that's enforcement.xbox.com. Do not tweet me or send me a message asking me to look at your ban, because I'm going to send you that link. But anyways. So that's kind of like what the quizzes do. So those are the things that like you would probably have to do. You can help on the forums. You get XP for that, and then the XP basically translate into like, you get tickets, or if you complete these like missions and stuff. I think they're giving away like 10 Xbox One S's.
I have homework to do tonight.
Are participating. Yeah, so it's. If you go to the ambassadors or community.xbox.com, you'll see the ambassadors link in there, and anybody can sign up now. You just go there, sign up, and then you just basically just kind of jump into the community, and it's pretty cool. They have like a little chat place and stuff, and everybody's real welcoming. To get people started or whatever.
You had me all excited there for a second, but usually everybody gets a 15-minute window in life for their stardom. You gave me about 5 minutes, Scratch. I thought we were something there, Ambassador. I said I got to check that email again. Now everybody can sign up. How do you get into the MVP? Can you tell everybody what an MVP really is? Because apparently that holds a little bit more stature. And how did you come across that? And what does that give you?
Yeah. So the MVP program is an award that's given by Microsoft. It's actually underneath the Xbox product team. Now it used to be like there's a global Microsoft MVP that it used to be part of, but they kind of split between consumer expertise and technical expertise now. So we're actually in the hands of the product team now, which is really awesome. There's about like 25 or 30 of us, I think. And
that's
basically,
awesome.
and so basically, it's an award. It's not something obviously that like anybody like works towards or anything like that. Like, I think that is like one little misconception I think that some people have is like that they should go out and do things to become an MVP. But like for me, and I know for a lot of it, like there's a couple of MVPs who didn't even know about the program existing, and they got an email from Microsoft and was like, hey, we've been watching what you're doing and whatever, and they get it. So the people who have it, it's for all sorts of different reasons. For me personally, I was nominated by a couple of other moderators and one of the staff members that was working over the forums because of my work there. I'm actually one of the lead moderators there. There's two others. Keezy is one, and Killer Skier, if they're listening, probably not, but maybe.
Let's hope they are.
If not, I'll tell them to.
I appreciate it, Scratch.
So, and I just, like I said, it was just a matter of just kind of always being there, and I never really paid any attention to it. It's probably one of the hardest questions for me to answer is how did you become an MVP, because it was never really something I anticipated.
Well, you know what it's sounding more and more like? You have to keep in mind, Scratch, I'm 100% Italian. It sounds like you're a made guy, and you really can't ask anybody who's a capo in the mafia how the hell they got there. It's just kind of like you're chosen. But let's be honest, you've put your time in. You just said you've been there through a lot of these programs since day one. So between me, you, and the wall, you've earned it. I've watched your videos. You don't put any nonsense out there. Every video is either an instruction video or it's gameplay. You're always inviting people to come check it out. You're a huge advocate for the community calendar. You push a lot of these things, and I want to personally say thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Right on, thanks.
And that's informative, and I think a lot of people are going to be writing me tweets, and I won't be bugging you with them, but if there are any really good questions about the ambassador program,
I don't care.
You've been so great at that on your show. But what I want to kind of get into is I'm really interested in hearing the panel, and I want to pick Scratch's brain on a lot of the hot topics that have been going on. Let's talk about one of the first things that's happened recently. Microsoft's acquired a company that may or may not be known to a lot of people as Beam. Okay? Now, let's just be honest. I didn't know what the hell Beam was until probably about 3 p.m. yesterday. So shame on me, I guess. And I did a lot of homework on it. I even talked to Rand for about a half an hour last night about it. It went down in the DMs. And to be honest with you, I think it's great. But I want to actually get Rand's little take here because we had a really good talk yesterday. Rand, what's your opinion on them acquiring Beam? And then, in all honesty, you being such a gamer that you are, what's your stance on it? How do you feel you're going to play this out?
So I found out about. I knew about Beam like a couple weeks ago. It's basically Twitch, but for much more community focused, like ways you can interact with the streamer.
Okay. Like you can mess with people's games?
Well, yeah. So you kind of can, like in the Minecraft stuff, you can kind of like give the person quests, but it has like with Twitch, like you just stream your game on Twitch, and people can talk to you. Sometimes, they'll follow you. If you get popular enough, you can get a subscribe button, and they'll sub to you. They can give you donations and that type of stuff. And this all has that too, but it has the added thing where it's like, the big thing about Beam, and I will say the absolute best thing about Beam, is it's like 0.2 millisecond behind or ahead or whatever way you want to say it.
Yeah.
Like with Twitch and YouTube, Like earlier when I was watching Scratch stream Gears, I said I kind of trolled him for a second.
Yeah.
And you can, and he has a chat up on there, and you can see the delay. I mean, it was a good 20-second delay.
Yeah,
before my comment popped up there.
easily.
But on Beam, it's literally like instant, and that is like that is the coolest thing about Beam, in my opinion, is that technology where there is no latency. It's pretty much instant. So like when I heard they bought them, my mind's already thinking, okay, what is Microsoft doing with this? I think they're going to use the technology that powers Beam to some use with Xbox Live. I don't know. I'm not Mike Ibarra or like Keith, like Kramer or any of those guys. I'm not smart like that, so I have no clue what they're going to use it for. I don't think they bought it to be a competitor to Twitch, to be honest. Because honestly, I don't think.
Well, Rand, what about a competitor to YouTube gaming?
No, not even that. Not even that. YouTube is the biggest website in the world.
Yeah, no,
right?
I know that. I understand that, but to have something, because like with Google and Microsoft, their relationship, and we've been really wanting that YouTube like game streaming app on the X1. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Right. So you think maybe they haven't done it yet because they might. I mean, this might have been the works. I mean, it's possible. I just don't think. It's. I mean, just with Microsoft's backing or just Xbox backing, really, I don't think it'll take off that much. To be honest with you, I think it's something cool, and I think this is one of the goes to the Phil's whole thing about options. This is just a different way or another way of people to broadcast their games and interact with players as they stream. Like for instance, one of the guys who runs Xbox Live was streaming, and he was doing what was it? Goat Simulator, and he had the controls. He had the controls on his stream, and people in chat were actually playing the game for him, because you can actually press A and then it does it.
Amazing.
So it's cool. It's much more interactive than Twitch is. However, Twitch has the brand name. Twitch has been around a while. It's overcome. I mean, essentially, YouTube Gaming was coming for it, and hasn't really made a dent in it. So I don't really see Beam doing that, but I don't think they bought Beam to be competition to Twitch. It's just like an ancillary thing. It's something they can maybe use the technology to make better. And maybe Microsoft could essentially, like, instead of waiting for something to come along, they said, we like this. Because I mean, I don't know if you know, Mooch, but the guy who made Beam is the kid's 18 years old.
Yeah, listen, I saw him do the interview with Larry Herb. You could see he was so giddy to get to his new card where the doors go up and not out to open.
I mean, that's amazing. He's 18 years old, and you can tell this is more than just, hey, we're buying. Like, he's now also, he has a job at the Xbox engineering team.
Absolutely.
And Microsoft's already said Beam is not going to be platform, agnostic. Anybody on any platform can use it. So there's something going on. I think they're going to use the technology of all that stuff to integrate it into something bigger in a year from now or something. I mean, we have Arena coming at the end of the year. Yeah. Maybe there's something they could do with that. I mean, who knows? The possibilities are endless when you get really smart people.
I do agree with you, Rand. I don't think this is a Twitch killer. I just think that Microsoft has always liked to have their version of something. Now, we all know that their version of something is generally never taken the #1 spot, but it usually floats in the top 3, and this is not going to be any different here.
Everybody remembers Zune and Windows Phone. They're not exactly, took over.
Hey, I loved my Zune, all right?
And people
Zune
did,
HD
but
was amazing.
I mean, just because Microsoft backs something doesn't necessarily mean all of a sudden it's going to be, #1. So.
Rand, I have a question. Now, do they have a interactive like Beam app where you can stream from your X1 directly?
Not yet. I mean, literally the acquisition just happened. They don't have Xbox integration just yet. I'm assuming it eventually will. We will be able to stream from the Xbox itself. Because right now, if you wanted to stream on Beam, you would need a capture card like Scratch has, how he streams on. Yeah. The Xbox channel, which I don't have. I don't have a capture card, so I couldn't stream on Beam right now. But I can stream on Twitch because Microsoft and Twitch are partners, and they have that built into it right now, which is why, for the time being, even though I did make my Beam account, mainly because I don't want somebody masquerading as myself, as a couple people on this panel have had that problems before, as people pretending to be you guys. So I was like, hey, I'm going to get my name, so, I don't want anybody pretending to be me.
Well, somebody already took Mooch, so I had to grab the Mooch, and it was just because I went on right away when I was told to. They're like, hey, you should probably... But I was having an awful time on my phone trying to get on. Maybe it was because it was busy, everyone was trying to get on, but I just had an awful time. But so late last night when I was able to get on, the best I get was the Mooch. But the thing about it, it really does come down to the fact, for me personally, is that it's not yet. And I understand this all doesn't happen in 24 hours. So people say, "Mooch, calm down, calm down." That's fine. I'll calm down. But it needs to get integrated into Microsoft's system before this thing gets taken seriously. Because, like you said, all I have to do right now is press the Twitch app, begin stream, and then start my game, and I'm on. I'm live. And that's what do we do? People are almost like water, right? We follow the path of least resistance. So when you say I got to go out and buy a capture card, I got to hook it up, I got to do this, I got to do that.
Well, for right now, if you wanted to stream immediately, yeah. And I already see people. It's already starting in chat. The people are saying I'm a buzzkill and I'm a downer. I don't think I am.
L downer.
I think it's a great acquisition. I think the technology behind Beam is wonderful. The kid's obviously a genius. Otherwise, Microsoft wouldn't have, wanted to work with them and have him on the team. There's a lot of great things that they could incorporate into it. I just don't. I think Twitch is at the point now where it's just too massive. It's owned by Amazon. YouTube, which is the biggest website in the world, can't even compete with Twitch.
Right.
And honestly, like I said, I don't think Microsoft bought it to be a competitor to Twitch. I think they bought it for different reasons. That's just my opinion. Someone else, maybe Scratch. What do you think about Beam?
Yeah, so I actually grabbed an account yesterday, and I was I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I'm probably going to. I kind of right now I switch between streaming on Twitch and YouTube gaming. Like I do both, and I think that a lot of them have. I think they both have like their own things that I like about them. For example, like I like YouTube gaming because there's a whole bunch of discoverability available there, because Google is just amazing with SEO and making the stuff that you're producing searchable a lot easier than say like on Twitch. But then when you go over to Twitch, there's a lot more available to you in terms of interaction with your fans. So like the bots that you can put in. I do see that some of them are coming into in being available for YouTube now. I think like Nightbot, I think you can have on YouTube now. So it's starting to kind of catch up with it, but they, and then Beam now, like people are going to want to do that because of, if you're playing interactive games or with your community or whatever, that delay is going to be, that's crucial.
Well, that's what I noticed. I did tune in. Shout out to GKB. GKB was doing a little back compat on Black Ops Zombies, and to be honest with you, it looked really impressive. I do got to say, Beam's latency issues were non-existent. That was crisp. Usually with Twitch, even the gameplay is a little stuttery. I didn't see that in this. Am I wrong in that? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't grab a big bowl of popcorn and watch Twitch for hours and hours. Even when Rand being a good friend, when he goes on and says I'm broadcasting, I click on it. I usually hang out with Rand for about 15, 20 minutes, and it's not any disrespect to him. It's just that's my attention span.
We're a different generation, Mooch. Like I did the same. Like Scratch was broadcast, and I dropped by, I said hi, but I leave. Like I would rather be playing a game. That's what I was going to say. Somebody play a game.
You encourage me to play a game. That's what Twitch is supposed to do, right? It makes you want to play. So I watch for 15, 20 minutes when it's a friend of mine, and then I usually hop off, and I'm like, I'm going to go play now. You know what I mean? Like I just that's me. So yeah, Rand. That's the same boat that we're both kind of in there. And I know like crap. You don't Twitch. The only Twitch that I think you've done is with me. I think on it was on PlayStation.
I don't have a good enough upload speed to stream to Twitch or anything. So it looked like a flip book if I did it. I did stop by and check out Beam today, and I thought that it looked really cool, and you know what I mean. And I do think that. I don't know, because look, PlayStation does have Google. You can do like YouTube gaming and stream right to YouTube. Yeah. Maybe Google doesn't want to let Microsoft do that, and Microsoft needed to come up with a way to do something on their own and give their fans something that PlayStation couldn't do.
You just what if they bought the latency as a low stream, like like kind of like on live streaming games, but with like 0 millisecond like
Yes.
delay between
See,
input and stuff like that. That just popped in my head.
I'm with you, Rand, because you know what I thought about yesterday when I was listening to the young 18-year-old who was the owner of the company. He was really emphasizing his latency technology and this and that, and blah, 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 and the code. Oh, I don't know if you guys not everybody subscribes to HBO, but if anybody's watching Silicon Valley, it reminded me of Pied Piper. Because they have like the lowest latency in streaming, and I was like, and the kid from Pied Piper was probably also like 20 when the show first started, or he was supposed to be young, and I see this kid, and I'm like, this kid hasn't even shaved yet.
Because that would get rid of one of the major complaints about streaming, playing a game, like from a server like PlayStation Now.
Yeah. Is
that if the latency was that low, you could essentially do it. I know that Xbox thinks that's the future. Down the road, maybe it's for that. I mean, I'm sure they. I mean, who knows?
Well, of course.
Wait a minute. Let's be honest. But no matter what you're buying, the next spot, I'm going to turn it over to you in a second. Rand, you make a hell of a point. Listen, Microsoft is in here for the long haul. They're not here to just do something that's cool and neat and give somebody a couple, either in this case hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars, depending on what the product may be. There's always got to be a second alternative. Think about it this way: if you buy some sort of piece of property, right? You love the property because you can envision your family or yourself living there for a while. But let's not kid each other. You do realize at some point you're also looking at the neighborhood, the school district, because if you have to sell the place in 10 years, you want a resale value. So you're not just looking at an acquisition for just today. You're looking at something that may benefit you 5, 10 years down the road. Mm-hmm. And there's no difference in this case with technology. So, yeah, I think that's a hell of a point. And look at, Rand, you actually proved the point even further by telling me something I didn't know. I didn't know that the kid also got a job in engineering. So not only did Microsoft give him an absolute fat retirement or life, he's all set. Now he's also going to make anywhere from about $100,000 to $175,000 a year just telling people how he came up with that code and how it can get better. So this is a genius move by Microsoft, and Microsoft has that kind of money to do that. So they can flaunt that. Next spot, I'll turn it back to you. I apologize.
Oh yeah, no, and it's no problem. The way I'm looking at it is it's a double positive for Microsoft. They basically acquired this thing, so that technology they can go in, deconstruct. They have basically the creator there to say exactly how they did it and stuff. So yeah, when it comes to the low latency technology, they can definitely use that for other things. And then, like I said, with Google kind of being stubborn with the whole YouTube gaming streaming thing, there's an alternative. There is a choice, like was said on the panel before. So it's a double positive. Why wouldn't they, invest in something like that?
Yeah, actually, speaking of all the streaming, Jay Williams, I wouldn't mind seeing you start to do that. That would be something that would be key.
It was something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and not streaming as much games as it is, doing graphic tutorials, putting them online, either through Twitch or through YouTube or whatever. But
games too, though. I mean, that would be really great.
A lot of people want to know how I do what I do and what software I use and the techniques I use, and I'm constantly upgrading my skills and constantly looking at tutorials on how to do new things. And a lot of people want to know how to do that. Aspiring artists that are online, people that want to just do their own YouTube graphics or for Facebook or for Twitter. That is something
you should totally do a creative stream on Twitch. Like, that is big now. You should like Maka a couple weeks ago did a creative stream where he literally showed how he cut a collectible video for Doom, and it was just him in front of the computer, like showing people how to do it. You should totally do a creative stream where you just you make something, like because you just did. I just saw you do Dealer Gaming's logo, which was really nice.
Just gonna say, Dealer Gaming's logo is
it's sick. You should totally do a creative stream where say someone like Foxfire wants a new icon, and you just do it all on stream, just showing people how it's all done, the thought process, how you do it. I think that'd be a really, really interesting stream.
Yeah, you'd be amazed.
Bored after 5 minutes.
No,
dude. We have to understand the process that I go through is a lot of, it's back and forth, trying to figure out what I like.
Hey, Jay, I want to let you know, just because I used to use Twitch a lot to showcase how I made cars in Forza. A lot of my subscribers, they loved the car designs and stuff like that I did, right?
That's actually one of the first videos I stumbled upon when you were doing those Forza designs.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was thinking to myself, man, sometimes it takes me a while to really get the design down, know exactly where I'm going. But dude, the audience stays with you. The audience will suggest stuff for you. Yeah. They really get involved with those creative type live streams, man.
It's something I'm thinking about.
Well,
I
Jay,
mean, it's
think
something
about
that
it. What's
hadn't popped up.
one of the #1 book sales out there, Jay, is fill in the blank for dummies, right? I mean, every college kid in the world wants to pick up a for dummies book, right? This is basically giving everybody that chance to sit in front of their own computer or their television and make their own crib notes following you. So I definitely think it's something. And you already have the equipment with. You have so much equipment, you could be on Beam in 5 minutes, and that low latency, it's really crystal clear. The voice
you would
is
laugh
great.
if you would laugh if you saw what I've got going on right now. On the right side of me, I've got the live YouTube stream happening on my Surface. To the left, I have two 24-inch monitors, one with Twitter on it, the other one with the Hangouts on it. Plus, I've got my phone in front. I look like I'm in the Batcave right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are the Batman of social media right now.
He's the Canadian Batman.
A boot.
A boot.
Yeah, so this has been great. I want to kind of get into another subject here after this, and this is where I want to start with Crap, and I definitely want to hear Scratch's take on it. Let's talk about this. We talked about a little bit on Xbox Nation, but even more has developed since then. We talked about Quantum Break going to Steam, and we'll dive into a little bit of that because I'd like to hear this panel's thoughts on it. But I also wanted to bring up the fact that PlayStation Now is also going to be going to PC, and they said that there's a very good, strong chance that PS4, because people are like, well, the PlayStation doesn't do it. They hold their exclusives. Not anymore, people. It's over. So you can play Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 on your PC in about 30 days. So my point being is that, oh my God, Halo may go to PC. This is the ironic part. Uncharted will be on PC before Halo, and we gave Microsoft shit for all these years. Crap. What do you think about this?
Okay, well, look, like I said to somebody today, gaming is changing.
Yeah.
All right. The fact of the matter is, Microsoft has multiple platforms to put their games out, but you still need Microsoft to play either one of them. You know what I mean? Like, you need Windows, even the Steam stuff. You still need Windows. Yep. You know what I mean? So you're still using variations of Windows. It makes sense. I said originally they should do it because Quantum Break was an expensive game. The only problem that I had with it was they've said multiple times, no, we're not putting it on Steam. It's a Windows. It's a Windows Store exclusive, right? It's like that whole Quantum Break thing messes with my head because those that don't know, I was the one that got shit on by Phil Spencer on that tweet. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was me.
That was you.
Yeah. So like the whole timing of that, like announcing that it's going to PC 4 weeks before launch, and then 3-4 months later after it's out, even after you said it wasn't going to Steam, you're putting it on Steam. That's the part that I have a problem with. I don't really care that it's going there.
Right.
Just the kind of, because people are always looking to call Microsoft out on if they mislead or do whatever, you know what I mean? So I just thought that they should be a little bit more open about it. Other than that, I don't really care. Gaming is changing. You got to make money. Look, Sony is going to do this. Why? Because nobody's using that service on PlayStation. I don't know anybody that uses it, I can't even use it because it says my internet's not good enough. So, I mean, it makes sense. But you can go to, like, I've seen some hotels using it. They have it. It makes sense that Sony, who is completely relying on PlayStation at this point, they need to make more money. That's the bottom line. And so putting their games out, and at the end of the day, they're still exclusive. Just like Halo is still exclusive in my opinion. Street Fighter V is exclusive to PlayStation. No Man's Sky is exclusive right now to PlayStation. Even if it's on PS, it doesn't matter to me because I'm a console gamer.
That's right.
If I can't play it on my console, then it's exclusive. That's how I've always looked at things.
That's what I say too, Crap. You have to understand, and people listening in the audience have to understand that if you're a console gamer, which is probably why you're listening to this show, you're not going to get up, nowhere in the past 12 months, no matter what Microsoft was selling or what you hear coming down the pipe from any company, none of us got up and went and built a $2,500 rig. Very few people. As a matter of fact, all I kept seeing was people budgeting their money to go buy another Xbox and have in a different room. So my point being is that, like, Crap's right. We're not getting affected by that. But Scratch, the reason I want to ask you is because, listen, you're always very politically correct, and that's one of the things I love about you. But one thing I want to know is this has been something that's been in the if you will, the console wars for a long time, that Microsoft has been getting a lot of crap from the media that why would I even buy an Xbox One? I'm going to be able to play Halo or Gears on PC someday, so I'll just wait. Now here we are. We find that Sony Entertainment is saying that their PSNOW is definitely coming in 30 days. PS4 games they're looking into. What was your take just from sitting back reading this over the past, what's transpired over the past few days?
Okay, so like for me, I don't it was a big. I was kind of glad to see that it's going to Steam. I can understand like, you know, like being upset like when they say like, oh well, it's not going there. It's not going to be ever be on Steam, and then they put it there, right, or whatever. But I kind of live in the camp of like I have a $2,500 computer, and I do not really have many PC games.
Absolutely, I agree. I know what you mean.
I just don't. I mean, I have one in case there's one that I like. But I totally, you know, I mean, I look at it this way too, right? Like when I was a kid, there was no way Sonic was ever going to be on Nintendo. And now it's everywhere, and Sega's on, and you know what I mean. So like things change, money talks, you know how it is, and so I think it's part of just how things go, and if more people can experience it, like it's almost like a gimme. Like I feel like they might play it and be like, man, this one was exclusive, but it didn't stay there, and it's pretty good. I wonder what else they have. Like it could potentially, you know, maybe make people, you know, because a lot of people, like in the whole console war thing, like there's so many people on both sides, not just one or the other, or PC Master Race or whatever, but they complain and talk about games that they'll never play because they hate Xbox so much or they hate Sony so much, they never even play the game. They just say it's bad because of who the manufacturer is, which is ridiculous, but I think like going through and some of these games coming to the other platforms just gives, you know, more opportunity for other people to experience it. And then I think when you look at like Rocket League, like I can play with people who are on PC and play with them on, you know, on Xbox. It's going to just kind of maybe open the door for that a little bit more, you know, where the lines will be blurred a little bit, you know.
But can I ask you a question, Scratchy? I want to hop on that exact point. Do you see Sony somewhat threatened recently, though, because Microsoft has now said we are willing to open our doors. We will allow cross-play over, you know, PC, PlayStation, everything, and Sony's not allowing it. What do you take from that? Because now Microsoft doesn't look like the bad guy for once. Microsoft's got their doors open, their arms are wide open, embracing this entire technology. Just to use your example, Rocket League. The folks at what are they called? What are they called?
Psionic.
Psionic. Thank you. I had half of it right. Psionic. They basically said that they are ready to rock and roll. They just need the permission from Sony to hit the button. Don't you see where Sony is kind of threatened by this a little bit? We here on this show, and I'll speak for everybody. I usually don't like to do that, but I think we've had this powwow. But what we agreed on was that you know what it was basically that Sony doesn't want people to say, okay, now I don't need to go buy a PlayStation 4. I can go buy an Xbox because Xbox is going to be able to play multiplayer games across all platforms. And that threatens Sony because Sony's only really winning things because they have their exclusives. You see where I'm making this correlation where they may be threatened?
Yeah. I think it definitely, when they see, I mean, whenever you see like the competition, you know, doing something different, it's definitely going to, you know, raise eyebrows because they're probably wondering like, you know, have they done research to see like how many people are, you know, gaming on both or whatever, you know, even for value, for example, the way your accounts are nowadays, with your account, like with your Microsoft account, for example, like you get a license for the game, and I could buy a game and have it on both, you know, PC and on Xbox, and only buy it once and play it in both places or whatever. Like I think that's a big play, and you know, with like DRM and accounts security, not security, but like the security of like having an account on something and being able to purchase these games and kind of keep track. Like I don't think they necessarily have to worry as much, but as much as they just want to probably offer, you know, that same sort of feature, because like if I can start buying PlayStation games now, and have them, and then, you know, later, like, there's a big PS4 sale, I probably would grab one because I already have some games for it. Like, you know, I think there's, like, a flip side to that, and maybe, you know, one side or the other just, they have to buy into that, you know, they have to, you know, they have to believe that that's that will happen, that people will do that. Like, you don't know what people's behavior is going to be whenever you change, like, how things are going. Like, to you guys' point earlier, that, you know, the gaming industry is kind of changing and things are spreading out more. We're reaching, you know, more people.
Yeah.
Smaller devices. We might be playing Halo on mobile, and it might actually be good in a couple years.
No, it won't.
Hey,
There
they
already is
had
Halo on
Halo
mobile.
playing on a phone like over a year ago. All right.
There's two of them, Spartan Assault and Spartan whatever. Ooh.
No, I'm talking a full-fledged Halo title. I forgot if it was Halo 3 or Halo 4, but they had one of them playing on a Lumia. They had a freaking controller plugged into a Lumia, and they were playing it just to show that they can do it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they can. I want to go to what Scratch was just talking about with you buy one and you get one, right? And how that's like a great feature.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and it totally is. Like I've said for a long time, it's a very pro-consumer move.
Yes.
The fact that Microsoft is like allowing you essentially being like, because people have wanted cross-buy. Like, hey, I want to buy this game on Xbox, get it on PC. People wanted it with 360 and Xbox. And there was a couple games, because I actually took advantage of the Call of Duty ones one year, where I bought Advanced Warfare on the 360 and I got the Xbox One version for free. They did that 2 years in a row, I believe, with Call of Duty. Not many games did it, but it's a cool feature. The thing is, and I don't want to get back into the rant we had on Wednesday's show, but
Hold on, that was a great discussion, by the way.
But I'm just gonna say, like, I'm with everybody here. I'm with Scratch. I'm with Crap. Like, I want more people to play Quantum Break because I thought it was a really good game. I'm happy more people are going to play it. Hopefully, it gets more fans. Maybe it brings a second life into the game. More people can discover it. Like, I get all that stuff. I'm more looking at this from an issue of Microsoft's messaging, which I have found extremely disappointing this entire generation. And I'll take it back to the fact that I think, honestly, they are sabotaging their own efforts of promoting their own store, Windows 10, because that's what they've told us. You know, that's what E3 was all about. That's what Phil's whole thing kind of is. It's like, play your games where you want to play them and stuff. And at the time, we were like, well, that means Xbox or Windows 10 because Microsoft owns both. Maybe he really meant also Steam, because if you're trying to sell these games to a new set of people, not Xbox people, because Xbox people will buy games on Xbox just like PlayStation people buy PlayStation games on PlayStation, and Nintendo people buy. So they're courting a new consumer here. They're courting PC people who strictly only play on the PC, who have no intentions of ever getting an Xbox, right? So they're like, hey, we're going to sell some of our games to you. And they're like, cool, I would love to play Forza Horizon 3 in 4K. I have a rig that can run that. Great. I'm not going to go buy an Xbox One, because why would I? I have this $4,000 PC. Fuck yeah, I'm so excited, right? Or even Gears of War 4. Now, Gears of War 4 is going to look amazing in 4K. Right. And those guys are right. It does look amazing in 4K. I saw it being played on 4K on a PC at E3. It looks fucking fantastic. And there are technophiles, or technophobes, or technophiles, I think it's technophiles, on PC who would buy the game just because the specs are high. I mean, remember, the question with PCs for a long time was, can it run Crysis, right? Because Crysis, even though Crysis is a very, very mediocre game, it fucking sure does look pretty on PC. But the point I'm trying to get is, like, you're telling these potential customers that don't, like, who might buy Recore, who might buy these games, that there's a possibility, perceived reality, remember, perceived reality, that at some point in time in the future, that Recore could be on Steam. So what is the point of even bothering going to the Windows 10 store? That's my whole issue with this. Personally, I don't give a shit.
Hey, not just Recore, but I mean, I've seen people in comment section going, "Oh my God, they're going to bring Halo 6 and Gears and Forza all to Steam. Holy cow, Microsoft, really?" I mean, people are really like thinking this in forums and stuff, you know what I mean, and on websites and things like that. And it is, like you said, Rand, a little bit counterproductive in my opinion as well, because they sold everybody on this Windows 10 and, you know, this cross-play stuff. And, you know, to me, Steam, I don't give a crap about PC gaming. I have a PC that's way more powerful than PS4 or Xbox One. And I'm going to even make it more powerful just to piss people off because I don't use it in the game. Right? I swear, that's my goal. Like, I just love having a powerful PC that I use to make videos about how great consoles are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we saw earlier that No Man's Sky tweet, right?
Yeah.
They're like, drivers and this and then. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like,
they're
that's
having
why I
so
game
many
on a fucking
problems.
console, right? I game on a console. You put my game in, I can play my games. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
What happened to the old mantra, though, Crap? What happened to the old mantra, an eye for an eye, right? We had Phil at the Build, it was either early this year or early last year, that he was up there and he's like, I love Steam. He's like, let me just pull up my Steam games. You know what I mean? He's up there on stage, millions of people watching. What I'm saying is this. Never unless you're a company that's going under, and we know Microsoft's not going under. They're doing very well. Do they need to ever give something without getting something back? All I'm saying is this, and I know, Crap, what you're going to say. I don't want it. You don't have to use it. There's a lot of apps.
Yeah.
I went and scrolling through the apps that are available on the Xbox One. I use like 4 of them. There's like a million. My point being is this. You don't have to want it. But why can't we get a Steam Box app, you know what I mean, on our Xbox One? Something right? I mean, an eye for an eye. Why can't we get something?
I do. Like, listen, they probably will bring some games. I don't know if it'll be Steam, but they've got their own ecosystem. I don't know if that would mesh well with Xbox, you know, like their own achievement system and all that kind of stuff. Plus, those games are cheaper, so how would you...
Plus, you already pretty much have Steam on the Xbox. The whole It at Xbox program is literally indie games that have been on Steam for the last 3 years. Finally coming over to Xbox.
And you know what, Rand? That's a hell of a point. I was going to say the smaller scale games, but we are getting those.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like, I know, like, I have no problem with options, right? Like, I'm all about options as long as you give me the option not to do the option, right? Like, you want keyboard and mouse on Xbox One, fine. Just don't make it so I have to play against those kind of people when I play multiplayer. Right. I don't want that. You know what I mean?
And we all want Microsoft to succeed, right? All of us.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because we want them to succeed. I want Sony to succeed. I would love to see Nintendo succeed because a healthy industry means more people making games. So sure, some of those games are going to be shit, but some of them are going to be really good. And I like playing video games, as everybody knows. So I like to see things be successful. The problem is I honestly think they're just sabotaging themselves. Like, I understood. I was behind the idea of making the Windows 10 store better, right? I mean, Steam is pretty much a monopoly on PC gaming for the most part. I mean, I know there's Green Man Gaming, right? But, I mean, they're not that big. I mean, Steam has that chokehold. And I know Microsoft's looking at it and be like, listen, if we were somehow able to build up that store, our own store, something that we control, and we made it big enough where everybody just put their games on this platform with UWP, where you could easily transfer it to Xbox and back and forth and yada yada yada, we'd be rolling in money. Like they get to 30% like Steam, and look what Valve does. They do nothing other just own that store, and they just they don't even make games anymore, guys. Valve does is they make hats for Dota 2 and Team Fortress 2 because they don't have to make it. That's why they'll never make a Half-Life 3, because it wouldn't bring in as much money as they as the store does.
And it'd be a huge letdown. Like, people,
it'd be a huge letdown. You have it built up in your head. It's like they honestly just sit there and they get check and they get money after money, and that's what Microsoft wants. There's nothing Microsoft loves more than just free money, essentially, right? And that's exactly what it is. So, so to me, it's like, I don't care. Like, it's gonna be great. More people play on Steam, and you're gonna hear more about it. But it's just like, man. Like, couldn't this wait till next year after we have the initial games come out? Like, why do it now? Because now everyone's wondering, like, well, okay, how long is it going to take until ReCore comes out? I mean, maybe the first-party games never will, and I don't think they will. I don't think Gears or Forza will, mainly because of the multiplayer, but a second-party game, because ReCore is made by second-party, Scalebound's made by second-party, State of Decay is made by second-party. Those games...
State of Decay 1 is already on Steam.
So, I mean, are we already at the point where it's like, are those games... And remember, at E3, they're like Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive. If those games go to Steam, isn't essentially Microsoft lying... not only to themselves, but to the consumers? I mean, I don't know.
Rant, I see what you're saying, but hey, Mooch, I want to kind of take a little bit of a different spin on this.
That's true. Hold on, real quick. Before every fucking video, Xbox One, Windows 10 exclusive.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I guess, I could totally see that's very misleading.
Very.
If that's the case, if those games go to Steam, so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Xbox.
All right. I've been able to sit and think about this for a couple of days. Mooch, you know me. I'm a thinker. I like to really kind of flesh out my ideas and stuff. And the one thing that She-Wolf said on Xbox Nation, I think is a true possibility, where there could be some type of deal going on backdoor between Microsoft and Steam. Like, other people on the panel have said today, with kind of having a Steam Box app on the X1. but I'm leaning more towards this is a kind of like a wait and see type thing. When it came to Quantum Break didn't sell great, so therefore, yeah, let's try to recoup some money here. But I want to look at this with the PlayStation Now and going to PC. It's funny how people, when games started going to Windows 10, like how they kept on saying, oh, look, there's no exclusives and stuff like that. But it's obvious that Sony is trying to get their platform on the PC as well with PlayStation Now, and then in the future, PlayStation 4 games. So they're kind of mimicking, they're trying their best with whatever they have, whatever assets they have, to try to mimic what Microsoft is doing, which is funny because people constantly say how Sony is in the lead when it comes to this and Sony is in the lead when it comes to that, and they just seem to kind of imitate what people think is second place right now. That's a little ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I do, and I want to take that exact question and parlay it over to Scratch. Scratch, do you ever talk to anybody over in the Microsoft camp, and have they ever mentioned? And I shouldn't say, I don't mean the executives. I mean more just along the people that you kind of maybe fellow ambassadors or MVPs that are like, are people kind of scratching their heads in the like big strong Xbox fan base that are saying, why are they doing this? Or is the consensus, who cares? Because frankly, I'm in the who cares. The way I look at it is, I look at us all standing on a beach, and we draw these huge lines, and the PC guys stand in their quadrant, I'm in mine, or excuse me, not quadrant, excuse me, my triangle, if you will. I'm in my corner of the triangle, and they're in theirs. I never cross over. Crap has said he has a big rig. Scratch, you've said you have a $2,500 plus PC, but you still choose Xbox One and console.
Hey, my rig
gaming.
isn't that big. My rig's about like $1,200, but
well, still it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It can still play the games. And my point is that we all choose that. My point is, it doesn't matter where it goes. I'm still buying these games either on Xbox One or bust. What about that, Scratch? I mean, what do you hear? You hear anything from the Ambassador MVP group? What's their take when news like this breaks?
I mean, we definitely probably bring it up and talk about it. I think one thing is to you have like different groups of people. Like when I'm trying to think of a game to use as an example that came from Steam, and it probably would be an indie game. But they're like all the rage, you know, when they're brand new, when they're first out, and then they get released on another platform, and it's like, that's been out for a year. Like, it doesn't hit mainstream media that much because they've already covered it. You know, it's not like when a game leaves a platform and goes to another one, especially if it's like
Goat Simulator. That was, everybody was like, Goat Simulator, woo!
Yeah, and then it like
everything, so people are like, who cares?
Right, and it comes out and it's like, okay, Goat Simulator, woo. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, so like, and it just gets a couple more people maybe to play it, or whatever. And I think that goes, you know, like I said, like on both sides. When a game goes over to PlayStation, you know, from Xbox or whatever that was originally, you know, and right now it's mostly just, you know, indie games, of course, but I think
like Rise of the Tomb Raider, right? I mean, that's one that's going over to PlayStation. That was an exclusive last year, and
right,
you know, yeah.
And
so
it was the people who really love that and really want that. Like when it's exclusive, like it matters. Like I think we're just going to kind of move into an era of like timed exclusive. You've seen it in the last couple of years at E3. It's like instead of exclusive, it was first on PlayStation, first on Xbox, first on
DLC.
Between those two, like time DLC and stuff, because that's when the hype train is going. Like that's when it's exciting, and that's when it re-releases later or the timed exclusives are over. You know, it's kind of a conversation that's already happened. So, you know, I don't know if I think timed exclusive is probably just as good as exclusive,
and that's why they do them, because it is.
Yeah,
because I mean,
like, who cares about Rise of the? Honestly, that's a great game, but if you're a fan of that, who really cares about that game?
Crap. Strategically, I am 110% with you in that comment. The only thing is Sony trumped you and said, we're not giving any games this holiday. So it actually does work out for their customers. I mean, there is nothing coming to the PS4 platform this holiday, and that's where I kind of want to get into. I want to get into a little bit about.
I mean, other than like every multi-platform game, though.
Well, listen,
this is a conversation
multi-platform.
me and you have had forever. It's nobody. There's the exclusives are so few and far between because they cost so much money to make nowadays.
And they're broke.
Listen, wait a minute, though, but Rand, having multi-platforms, but multi-platform, let me just explain something to everybody in the audience that doesn't see my point on this. If you live next door right now to a person who came right off the boat from Italy and they make homemade sauce every Sunday, you can smell
Mamma mia.
Right? All this beautiful scent is coming over and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then you have, you're like, well, I heard you do live near the Travelli brothers and the family over there. I live over here and we're having hamburgers. My neighbors make hamburgers. Hamburgers are made in every house in the United States. I don't give a shit if the guy next to you makes a better hamburger than I do. You're not really living it up. I'd rather live next to the Travelli brothers, okay?
Fine,
what I'm trying to say is
hamburgers, fucking McDonald's or the local shop down the street.
But the point is it's really all about the same, and let me prove it to you. Call of Duty, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, okay? Call of Duty basically sells just about the same amount on Xbox One, if not more on Xbox One in the past few Christmases, because it's a better shooter, it's just a better controller, the whole nine. We don't need to go down that road. But I'm saying to you, the point of the matter is they're not overselling them on the multiplats big time. Not big time. Maybe on a couple of the Hideo Kojima games or something that's like literally Japanese, like an impression JRPG. Yes, those multiplats like Final Fantasy, which we'll get into later, that's going to sell a little more on the PlayStation 4. We all know that because those are just custom and native to that. But my point being is when somebody goes, come on, Mooch, look at how good these other, look how great PlayStation's doing with the multiplats. We all get the multiplats. That's really not a bragging point. It still does come down to the exclusives. It really, really does at the end of the day. And Sony, it took 3 years. It took 3 Christmases to happen, but it's finally happening. We saw it with the Xbox One win of the NPDs, and it's not going to end there. They're going to go right to Christmas because here's the problem. Whether you go, Mooch, you're delirious, you're just an Xbox fan, hear me out. Sony eventually has to deliver. And they haven't delivered for 3 Christmases now. And now people are getting fed up. Microsoft is not only delivering again with software, but now they're delivering with hardware. And they're going to do it again next year. So people are finally starting to read the writing on the wall, and they're getting fed up with these promises that aren't coming. We just got done with the E3 from Sony, and all that we learned is that games are going to be coming out sometime between 2019 and 2020, and Sean Layden likes classical music. That's all we learned with that orchestra. Listen, my point being is, I'm not letting that orchestra go, by the way. So let's get back into where we were. I wanted to take this somewhere because I just talked about 3 different subjects. I want to narrow it down, and I want to get everybody's opinion on it. Let's talk about No Man's Sky, and I promise everybody in the audience that I will be bringing up No Man's Sky today. I will try not to be bringing it up again on CrossFire unless something catastrophic happens like what happened today. Here's the problem, everybody. Not only is the game pretty much not working for a lot of people, the game is a complete letdown for a lot of people. Even people that were boasting it, like Colin and Greg on Kind of Funny, have recently come out. Thanks to Rand. Shout out to Rand for giving me the clip. I watched their impressions before they got the game, and then I watched their post-game impressions. They're not high on it. Here's the real problem. How about the fact that Sony's covering up literature and writing, which is against the PEGI rules, if you will, in Europe? It's with a sticker that's covering up the multiplayer information. It's on all the boxes going out. This is another shady move. How many shady moves are we going to give them in this country? We don't let people do that. In this country, you're allowed to make mistakes only if you do one thing. You apologize. Everybody wants an apology, right? Listen, Tiger Woods messed up. Get him in front of a podium. He's got to apologize to everybody because he cheated on his wife. That's not even our business, and we had to hear him apologize, okay? Sony, this is your business, and this is the business we're talking about. You can't keep doing these follies without apologizing, and they never apologize.
Yeah, well, first of all, this whole thing is shady, and it sort of reminds me of the Order 1886. Remember, they were taking down people who legitly got the game early and was posting footage.
Right.
And people saying that, the game's only 4 hours long or whatever. They tried to censor it, right? They're doing the same thing. That game was supposed to have multiplayer. All the interviews with Sean Murray say multiplayer. He's like, yeah, you can meet up with people, and you know what I'm saying? Now he's like, he avoids that damn question like he's playing dodgeball, okay? Mm-hmm. So they lied about that. They cover it up. They rushed the game out because Sony doesn't have anything else coming out. So they rushed this game out. It doesn't perform well on PC. It doesn't perform well on PS4. We knew that. You know what I mean? We were lied to about what the game was about. The whole entire time people are thinking that this is an exploration game, which sounds awesome. Like, if they were to implement just a explore mode in this game and it came to Xbox One, I would love it. Right, explore. You could just relax. You know, there's some Wii game, I forget what it is, Endless Ocean. You could just put on some music, and the whole point of the game is just to like scuba and see ocean creatures, and it's just relaxing. Like, that game could be relaxing if they did that. But the fact that every 5 minutes you have to go mine for fuel, do this, and a lot of the planets look alike, and you can't ever find anybody. There's no multiplayer. Like, a lot of this stuff is just plain lie. You know, they lie to everybody. The media hyped this game up, and now what can the media do? You saw it, Mooch. Everyone else saw it. Yeah. They're all like, you see the people playing the game, and they're trying to act like they're having a good time, but they're not having a good time at all. And the people that, like Jim Sterling, who gave it an honest review, they DDoS his site.
Yeah.
like here, I'll give you an example of how one-sided this is. Okay, I'm a PlayStation fanboy, Mooch, and you're you. And you tell me that you tell me that Quantum Break is great. Okay, tell me how great Quantum Break is. I'm a fanboy.
It's fantastic. You've got to actually play the story in it.
Okay, but look, it's only a 77 Metacritic. Come on, that's garbage. Nobody likes that shit, right? It's 77, only 77. It's garbage. It's flop. Nobody wants it. It lied to you. It's 720p. All this stuff, right? Okay, now. Wow, hey, Mooch, dude, No Man's Sky is fucking great. Man, I love it. You know, I mean, maybe there's only a 69 Metacritic on there, but all those sites that gave it a low Metacritic, those are just like hack sites and stuff, little sites doing it for clickbait. They don't really mean anything. That 69 Metacritic is perfectly fine because it's a really, really great game. And, you know, Sony's the best. You know what I'm saying? They're the best. They're the absolute best. They don't do anything wrong. This game is fucking phenomenal. And that 69, that's much better than the 77 for your Quantum Break, because that was 720p. I don't care that No Man's Sky only goes to 11 frames per second, because Quantum Break was only 720p. So yeah, how do you like that? Sales. Yeah.
Hey guys, not only that, but with this game, you guys know I keep an eye on Digital Foundry just because, I don't know, I guess I want to get pissed off on a daily basis. But Digital Foundry did an analysis of No Man's Sky. First of all, they said it ran at 30 frames per second, even though, you know, it's been stated how it drops down to like 11, especially when you go into hyperdrive, like flying your ship or whatever. But they literally said that the technique that was it Happy Games used for this, like the whole voxel thing, they actually said that this could be the future of video games. And using voxels, you can't put any type of gravity on anything, which is why when you shoot at these big rocks, you just have chunks floating in the air and stuff, is because they can't put any type of gravity assets on a voxel. And stuff like that. There's just a huge, it's like the game is a huge
the
mess,
other problem
basically.
is, I'm glad we're going down the line here, because this is going to end in a. Of course, we're going to put Scratch, our guest, on the hot seat real quick. I want to go. That's right. Nice, Scratch. I literally want to say this much: the problem that we are seeing, okay, from a non-fanboy perspective, okay, is that the game was sold incorrectly. It was false propaganda. The game was sold to. This was Sony guys talking on their podcast. I listened to them. You know, you have to listen to the good, the bad, and the ugly when you want to do a radio show. Okay. My point is this: they were saying that they were duped. They said they were sold an exploration game to get into your ship. Yes, they knew you would have to recruit materials and items to make your ship better, but it was all about, I want to go to this planet now, and then I want to go to this planet. What they said was very much the negative. Besides all the other stuff we're talking about, the biggest negative was you're limited on your exploration because you run out of gas. You have to just kind of stop, and you just spent 2 hours building your ship up and getting materials to fuel your ship. You just have to land at the very next one just to do the same thing. So it's a very boring, repetitious cycle, and that was the reason that a lot of even the people that are fans of the game are complaining. They're saying they feel like they bought something, that they were sold something else verbally and shown something else, and they got a different product when they got home and played it. Scratch, now the reason I turned to you here is you've heard crap, you've heard Xbot, myself, I think Rand, and we're going to hit Jay up after this too. I want to hear your point, though, Scratch, on do you see where we're coming from? I, for a very long time, have been saying No Man's Sky doesn't look interesting. Where is it that you come into this? Do you have a PlayStation 4? The audience might want to know, too.
I do not have a PlayStation.
Okay. Congrats to you.
I have a
Yeah.
Wii U and an Xbox.
Well, you are a better.
I have all three, but
You're
I
a better
mean,
consumer than all of us, then.
I own more games on my Wii U actually than my PS4.
So
What's your
like I mean I follow what's going on with them, and I'm not against. I mean I would buy one, or if you know
Right.
I would play it. I'm not sure what I would play on it, but I would play it if I had one. So I looked at No Man's Sky because there was huge outrage over it, like at least more than any other Sony game that's released. So like I see it creeping all over through my timeline. So I thought, you know what, I'll check it out. I think the main thing of like what I'm seeing is it really boils down to, and I think it even goes back to like the whole exclusive thing, is that people just don't want to be told one thing and then get something else.
Right.
Because I mean, let's be honest, in this day and age, like No Man's Sky could be fixed in a month, and maybe they'll increase the the fuel economy of the ships, or maybe they'll actually
Do an exploration mode.
Or yeah, they could put they could totally put an exploration mode.
They could.
Like,
Hey, and they already said today
and
that they're not against bringing it to Xbox.
and I think that
Right.
and I think that's the cool thing about where we're at now, is that if there is this outrage or whatever, it really just boils down to being told something and then get something else. Like, because right now people are mad because it doesn't have these things, and I would be too, because I tried to watch somebody stream it, and I didn't even know what he was doing. It was less than Minecraft or whatever.
Isn't it kind of like the situation with We Happy Few being sold that trailer?
I don't feel it to be the same, but I'll let Scratch answer that question.
Well, yeah, I think there's a little bit of truth in that, but then also you look at We Happy Few is marketed in in-game preview, so people see it and they go, and they people see it and they go, oh, well, game preview though, so I'm not pissed anymore. I'm pissed. I want you to change this, but it's cool because it's game preview. But don't you dare tell me this is finished.
Hey, I hope they take out
mad. You know what I mean? Like that's
stuff in We Happy Few. If they just stuck to that story at the beginning like that, it was phenomenal. But then when you got to eat and drink and
the game becomes terrible.
Yeah.
But about No Man's Sky, Mooch. So
yeah,
this is all like the hype machine. It's an exclusive game, so it's hyped up beyond.
Well, maybe it's not a full-time exclusive.
Well, no, it's not. But I'm gonna give you some numbers here, right?
Yeah.
So even though we don't know what it's sold on PS4, we can get a sense of how it's doing on Steam, right? With Steam stats.
Right.
So it came out earlier, so that when it launched or whatever, it had 212,000 concurrent users playing No Man's Sky. It might even be higher, might be less, but that was the concurrent, right?
Yep.
Just for comparison, XCOM 2 and Dark Souls 3 both had around 130,000 max during their launch day, right?
Okay.
And both those games are considered to be successes, especially Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League, it maxed out at 100,000 during free weekend. A cheaper game, but a successful game, right?
Yeah.
But here's the two big games I'm gonna bring up. So keep that in mind. So 212,000 concurrent users.
Yep.
Skyrim, which sold 4 million copies across console and PC, had 280,000 concurrent users during its launch.
Yeah.
And Grand Theft Auto 5, which, as we know, is one of the biggest selling games of all time at 364. So as of now, as of today, according to Steam stats, No Man's Sky is the biggest game to launch on PC this year, by quite a large margin, and I think it's entirely due to the hype put behind it by Sony, the misleading trailers, and nobody really ever explaining about what that game is. Because I used to watch Giant Bomb talk about this game, and they'd be like, it seems that the concept's really intriguing, but what do you do? And they'd be like, well, I don't know. They won't say what you do, because honestly, if you would have said what you do is you go to the planet and you mine to upgrade your ship, and then you leave the planet and you go somewhere else, and then you land on a planet and you mine to get some, and then you just do that over and over again. That's the gameplay loop. Nobody would have cared.
Rand, and I want to speak to your numbers. So first of all, I want to make a correlation here. No Man's Sky will do worse than even the Division, when Division's numbers were so big the first 2 weeks and then it plummeted. You said 212,000 active users on Steam. This time next week it'll be 200,000, 213,000.
Right, but
there'll be nobody. It'll drop like a lead balloon.
You're right, but the thing is, the devs will just be like, it doesn't matter because we got the money.
Right.
Well,
and that's what I'm
I
saying.
did hear that Steam was giving refunds.
Well, yeah,
a lot
they
of people were.
They do have the refund.
Well,
thing.
yeah, but I'm saying, but before we get into the refunds thing, that's the same thing that we all said about the developers at Ubisoft for the Division. The Division was supposed to be this great thing, took over for Destiny. Destiny couldn't have been laughing any harder after 4 weeks. The game just completely like shit the bed,
Right.
and the stuff they came out with nobody was interested in. So,
let me
but like
let me
we
just
said
read
on the
this to you
show,
for 1 second, Mooch.
Go ahead.
This is the top 10.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like concurrent users ever on Steam for games, right? Dota 2, 1.2 million. Counter-Strike, 850,000. Fallout 4, 471,000. Grand Theft Auto 5, 360,000. No Man's Sky, 212,000. Then Left 4 Dead 2 at 160. Terraria beneath that. XCOM 2, Dark Souls 3, Borderlands 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th biggest game concurrent users ever on Steam, which is a gigantic platform. So I think the game is going to be a success based off the hype. And yes, there are a bunch of people playing it, probably upset. I mean, if you look at the Steam page, the reviews, it's like it says like it's mostly negative if you look at the reviews.
Yeah, there were a lot of negatives.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous, and it's funny that they bought it because they should have known from the PlayStation version that it wasn't. Or anybody
Well,
that was
hold on, Rand. You know what? People thought, oh, well, the PlayStation version's bad because the hardware's weak or this or that or the other, not realizing that this game just wasn't ready to release. It wasn't optimized, and people are with Titans and all this kind of shit are still having problems running the game. Like even with like these super high-end rigs, people are like, why is the frame rate dropping to 9 frames per second? You know, and the game is just mining. Go over here, mine. There's game-breaking glitches. I've seen people I follow that were playing the game, and they're like, I have to start over after patch because it stranded me without the thing that I needed to fix my plane or whatever, and you know.
Yeah.
So.
And somebody pointed out that this doesn't include Overwatch, which is another. They just said 15 million players, and you're right because Overwatch is not on Steam.
Well, Rand, I just want to ask real quick because you're putting the numbers out there, and that's awesome, man. Trust me. But when you say all of a sudden like the reviews, there are a lot of negative reviews, and then you're saying with the numbers, the game is a success.
I mean, if you're going look at the company it's in. I mean, I know there's no official sales numbers, but when you're in a company with Fallout 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5,
from the users as well, though. You see what I'm saying? It could sell a shitload and get a ton of people pissed.
Yeah, of course.
That's not a success. You see what I'm saying?
You're right. I mean, but I'm sure it'll help them sleep at night with knowing that like they're rich.
Yeah, but if you
listen, the thing is though, let's be honest though. I gotta say though, and don't get me wrong, Rand. There's no counter to what you just said. It is what it is. Okay, somebody gets a fact check, they get a fact check. But no, go ahead, Scratch.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think success could be measured like, I mean, it's relative. Like, what is success, right? Like, so is success we made enough to pay for our game, or is success we got all we could? You know what I mean? So, like, to Rand's point about, like, I think a lot of people, and myself included, like, sometimes they read about a game or they, because the reason I looked at this is because, like, No Man's Lie hashtag was flying all over the place. And then there was that video where the guy was like, and what do you do in the game? And he's like, you can see your character, and it was like cut up. That was pretty funny.
That was really funny.
But I wanted to find out, like, what's the context of that? Like, where did that come from? And Protosex says, like, No Man's By. That's another one I saw. But, I think that a lot of these people are probably mad because they're the type of people who, they're like, they saw the concept of what was talked about or what you'd be able to do, like, because I found out, like, so many people thought that, there'd be, like, multiplayer, like, it would be, like, an interactive, like, you would actually, almost like a Skyrim kind of game, like the Skyrim Online sort of game, where you're, interactive and, like, you're living in a world, or maybe...
Or even like the free roam that's in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, or free roam in Red Dead Redemption, or Ark, or a game like that. And those are games that people are... It's been done, right? So people are like, well, Ark does it. Maybe not as well, but it's in preview, so we're not mad. But, Ark does it. You do it in, even in Grand Theft Auto. It's like, so people have this huge expectation, like when a game is talking about doing that when it releases, that they'll be able to do that. Because it's been done. They're just... you know, it's not like it's a new thing to have a big online free roam. You know what I mean? And there's so many people that probably just pre-order a game and like, man, that sounds great, I'll grab it, and then, you know, they might watch some stuff on it or whatever, and then they don't find out about No Man's Lie until they boot it up.
Well,
Exactly.
how much do you think it's because the game is a $60 game when maybe it should be $20 or $30?
Right, and that's the other thing too. Like, we're accustomed to, and it all comes down to the I think to gaming changing in general. Like, so right now, here are some constants that the community in general is a, you know, exclusive, for example, right? So if a game is exclusive, that's a big deal.
Yes.
Right? And let's be honest. So 4 years from now, that game still being exclusive and not on anything else, like, what is that doing for anybody? Probably nothing at that point. So timed exclusive is something that makes more sense because they can have it exclusive and they can get all of the benefits that comes with being exclusive by just doing a timed exclusive, because in a year or 2 years it doesn't matter that it's exclusive because nobody's talking about it, nobody's playing it. So it kind of gives them another re-release and they can, you know, kickstart that again. So moving on.
Do you think it's going to come to Xbox at some point then?
I think it's totally possible.
Absolutely.
I mean,
but I'm always going to say that that's possible when I'm asked that because Sonic is on Nintendo.
Good point, man.
And
well,
like,
Sean Murray said
when I was a kid, that was never going to happen. I would have fought you.
Here's the thing, Sean. What are they? A 10 or 20 team?
12.
Yeah, 12 team, right? So they had obviously we're only going to work on like one at the, and I guess, you know, since it's similar architecture, PS4, PC, they're obviously going to port. This is going to be the same thing as Rocket League. You know, 8 months the Xbox One will get it, and hopefully get it without the problems. You know,
well,
so,
you remember this kind of exclusivity deal kind of happened around the time their offices flooded. Do you remember that? And they lost everything.
Yes.
I remember Phil talking about how they were going to try to extend help. And probably both companies try to extend help, but you know, when these companies extend an olive branch, there's usually, you know, things attached to it. So I'm sure Sony got to him first. They probably
and it goes both ways too.
Yeah. So Sony's like, we will help you. We will get you back on your feet. However, you owe us this, this, and this.
And even to develop for 2 consoles costs a lot of extra money. So like cutting that in half and developing for one console over another, like even if there wasn't an outreach extension by either company, just going to a single console is going to save money, you know, short term. But you're going to make less, of course. But I think that you know. I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. Like, I think that we can see them come to Xbox, that they might have that exclusivity thing in place right now, but I just don't see the future of exclusives being exclusive forever. Because in 2 years, like, they could come to No Man's Sky and they're not going to be like, hey guys, No Man's Sky is exclusive to PlayStation 4, but we'd like to offer you some money to bring that to Xbox. You know, what do you say? They're not going to go, oh, 2 years ago we promised people it would be exclusive and not do it, right? Like, so
right. That's right.
I think we're just going to kind of move into where exclusive is just going to be, it's going to mean timed exclusive. Whether they say exclusive or not, it's just going to mean timed.
Well, just look at how they called No Man's Sky. It was play it first on PlayStation or make a console debut on PlayStation is what they said. Just like Microsoft with Inside. Nobody thought Inside was going to be exclusive forever. It made its debut on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the messaging, they got to not say that. They have to say timed exclusive.
Right,
like,
but the funny thing is, though, you guys remember this, I know Mooch does. When Microsoft did the Tomb Raider deal, it wasn't like, hey, great deal, Phil, Tomb Raider's a great franchise. The first question asked is, when's it fucking coming to PlayStation?
Yeah. How long? How long do you have it for? What's happening?
How many months?
Yeah.
You don't get, but with this game, nobody really says anything about that.
Right.
And if you read the interviews, I read the interview, they were asking that, and he was talking, and a Sony rep had to step in and move the question along. And you know, this kind of goes to your you know, your media bias thing.
Absolutely.
It's like Microsoft, and we can even talk. You know, you talk about the NPD flip out from yesterday or whatever. Like good news from Sony. Everybody's like, all right, Sony, you're the king. King's back. Woo, woo. Good news from Microsoft. There's something wrong here. How does Microsoft?
Wait a minute.
This can't
No,
be right.
Microsoft didn't win. The 3DS won. The 3DS clearly won. Microsoft didn't win. That's what we're saying. Yes, 3DS was the victory. Well, if the 3DS was the victory, then the PS4 was last fucking place. So yeah.
I literally had an argument yesterday with someone who was like that they didn't win, and I was like, what do you mean they didn't win? He's like, well, 3DS sold the most hardware. I'm like, well, it did. He's like, well, Aaron Greenberg's lying. Like, Aaron Greenberg didn't say they sold the most hardware. Aaron Greenberg said they sold the most console hardware. So, well, there's no distinction. A 3DS is a 3DS is a console? I didn't know that. A DS is a console. They were trying to spin it, and they know who they are, that handhelds were now considered consoles. And if you go by NPD's report, and they've always done this, a console is considered a home console, and handhelds are handhelds. You know, even Z Huge was like, "What are you guys talking about?"
If a handheld was a console, we wouldn't be looking at the NX coming out,
right?
With it being a quote-unquote hybrid.
It's funny because, and I brought this up, the 3DS and the DS have both won months against the PS2, the 360, the PS3, the PS4, but nobody says a word, right? So I said to these people, I was like, "Where was this outrage when the 3DS outsold the PlayStation 4 or the DS did other stuff?" And they were like, well, it wasn't announced. I'm like, no, it's because you didn't care. It's because Sony didn't win. And I find it funny. Like, look, I'm an Xbox fan. Everybody knows I'm an Xbox fan. I wear my preference on my sleeve. But I try to remain objective as possible, to the chagrin of certain people out there. But I just had to laugh because it's like suddenly Microsoft wins one NPD, and it's like, fucking, they lost two fucking... No, 3DSs are consoles now, man. They're consoles. They're like, shut the fuck up. You lost 1 month. The PlayStation's
they're about
just
to lose
fine.
Too.
Whatever.
I gotta say, man,
two more, but
I love when Rand gets this energetic, man.
Well, you know what it is?
Freaking awesome.
It is great to hear Rand come out with this passion because, you know, the thing is and I'll take some of the blame, I guess. I'll take the blame or I'll take the credit, however. But, like, I think what Rand, you know, some people say Rand's drinking the Kool-Aid. The thing is, though, you can only read so much garbage until you're like, okay, this is definitely biased. There's something going on here, and there's definitely a heavy favorite push by the media. The media, listen, if the media can put somebody in the presidency, the media can push No Man's Sky sales. This is what I'm trying to say. So you have to understand everything when we look at everything under a microscope. No Man's Sky, just go back to that because I do want to hit on the NPDs. No Man's Sky, okay, literally wouldn't be under a microscope if this game was at a price tag that we would all agree should be about $20. This game is $20. I'll go $30 at most if you really want to make the piggy bank sweat.
Well, let's just say this. A certain person, let's just call him Crap Gamer, has a video coming out about No Man's Sky, and the thumbnail just happens to have a picture of Sean Murray in the same pose as Pinocchio. I'm not saying there's a correlation there. I'm just saying that
Crap Jordan face, man.
Crap Gamer has something up his sleeve to that effect tomorrow.
Well, I mean, don't you guys see that, though? Don't you guys see this game being a $20 or $30 game?
Dude, this game should have been $15, $20 on PC. It's a 2.3 gig game. Yes. It's a random generated game.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Scratch, are you going to play this game if it comes to Xbox One? Are you going to play No Man's Sky?
Well, yeah, I probably would, because by the time it would come here, hopefully all the stuff everybody's complaining about will be fixed. And
but does the game? But the Scratch, does the game
right now? Probably not.
Right, Mooch, and I know you wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it.
I would not play it. But only for But wait, I've always said this. You can't just say yes or no. You have to give at least a 1 or 2 sentence explanation.
Okay, I wouldn't play it because I don't like exploration / survival / crafting games. They're
That's fine.
I think the worst games, video games made right now. Mm-hmm. I don't like the genre. I despise it, and it falls in that genre. And I
hate the fact that those have fallen in. Those were such a PC thing, and now they're falling into the consoles, and I don't like it. I'm with you. Like when everybody's like, "What the hell is that damn zombie game that people are clamoring for?"
7 Days to
Die.
No,
DayZ.
DayZ, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like, fuck that game. I don't care about that shit. You know what I mean? Like honestly, who cares? But yeah, I'm not gonna unless they had just an exploration mode with no crafting and you could just chill and do that. I wouldn't get it. So
listen, in this question, the thing about it is that for $60, absolutely not. My point is that It's an exploration game. The reason I won't play it is I don't mind the crafting and the building something and doing this and that. I don't mind it. My biggest problem with it is it's a game about nothing. Even if, Scratch, this goes to you. Scratch, even if the game is 110% fixed and the game comes for $20, okay, to Xbox, all you're going to do, even if there's no bugs, is you're going to get in your ship, you're going to get enough fuel to get off the island, and then you're going to, or planet, then you're going to go back onto another planet just to do the same thing. There's people who've played almost 10 or 15 hours, and they're saying that's all there is to it.
And that's all they've done.
And I don't see that being, I know, I see you play games. I know what kind of games you kind of like off of your shows and your games that you stream. I think it would put you into a coma.
Right, yeah, like, so, like I said, as it is right now, I probably wouldn't play it. Like, it would have to have, like, some sort of point.
Yes. Okay. I'm sold there. If they add something to it.
And I think by the time it came to Xbox, you know, it's going to have had something. Like, I probably would play the stuff that people feel lied about. Like, if that stuff was in there, like,
yes.
it sounds appealing, you know. I mean, it's kind of like Ark. I liken it to like a game like Ark, like where you I don't know what you even do in Ark. You just build and like try to evolve and stuff. But
Scratch,
but that stuff doesn't exist in No Man's
Sky. Right. But everyone that me and you are friends with that we know, okay, we all know Beard, and shout out to Azrael and Tim Dog, who all played Ark a lot. The thing that they liked about Ark, though, Scratch, that's not in No Man's Sky, and it can't because of the random generation, it's impossible just about. They liked playing together and building this compound from nothing. That's never going to happen because now Sean Murray has a different article and a different video out now. He says, think about it, Scratch. There's no way, okay, you can ask any mathematician. You can't say that when you leave, okay, so you leave a planet. He said there's like quintuplets? I don't know what the fuck it is.
Quintillion? Like
quadrillion? I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So when you leave your planet, Scratch, me and you pop it into the Xbox the same time next year. We're like, all right, Scratch, let's do this. I'll meet you on, Venus the 18th. And you're like, all right. So we take off. The minute I leave my planet and you leave your planet, your general, whatever that random procedure is that goes through the numerical system, it's an algorithm. By the time you get to wherever, it can never circulate. It's like Yolanda Vega hitting the same fucking lotto numbers back to back. It's impossible.
You know, that game is perfect for the PS4 because you call it the Lonely Station. It's a single-player game. You're like literally that game makes you feel alone in the universe. Like
there is nothing more lonely than sitting down and playing that game. Like that game tells you how sad it is, and you're alone. You're all by yourself.
Not only that, but my bad. But Mooch, I just want to say something about that whole Ark game. At least with Ark, there's a reason why you're on that island. Besides the multiplayer, which a lot of people absolutely love, there's a reason why you're on that island, and as you explore, you find different bits of information on why you're there, who put you there, and what is the main goal. And from what I see from No Man's Sky, it's just get to the center of the universe for
like an asynchronous story that's getting like filled in like as you go. Like these are things No Man's Sky would have to have before it would probably be even close to a $60 game.
Exactly.
Because why are you on there? Like, you don't know. And do you get to see your character?
I don't know.
I did see tweets and stuff today saying that they were like, well, cut them some slack, man. Cut them some slack. They're
not at $60.
It's like, hey, like, look, when you launch your product at $60, like, if I go to the fucking car store and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pick up a Toyota and it doesn't fucking work for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You expect a working, like, I don't know, video games is like the only thing where it's perfectly acceptable for a game not to work for a few days. It's like, I paid my money for this experience, right? Yeah. And okay, maybe I wouldn't be that, like I went to McDonald's yesterday, right? And they didn't like give me, like, I ordered fries and whatever, and they didn't put the fries in there, and it's just like, is it worth really going back there for $2? No, it's not, right? It's like, okay, whatever. I'll eat the cost. And it's like, okay, so I buy a $20 game, doesn't work for a couple days, whatever, I'll play it when it comes out. But even if it's like $60, it's like, okay, now you're playing with the big boys because the big boys play for $60. You're up there with the Gearses and stuff like that. And people give EA shit all the time when Battlefield doesn't work at launch and stuff like that. So if you want to play in the realm and you want to charge your game at $60 and play in a pool with the rest of the boys, you're going to get shit like the rest of the boys. I'm sorry, but like, and I understand, like, yes, it's 12 people, and what they did is, the randomly generated universe. That's exciting. Like, it is cool, but like, why is it like every other? You imagine if we went to a movie and it didn't fucking work.
Exactly.
Be like,
anything. When you bought a phone and it didn't fucking work. I mean, when we trade our money for a product,
there in a couple of days.
Like when we trade our money for a product, it's supposed to work. That's the deal. It's not like, well, it'll work in a couple of days or 3 or 4 days. Come on,
you couldn't have set me up any better. This is a great leeway into that sticker issue with Sony putting the sticker over the box right now. Could you imagine if you let your kid go see a movie and it was listed PG-13, all of a sudden they're like, oops, it was a sticker, it's M or R or NC-17. My point being is that Sony has a sticker on the box right now that says we're covering up multiplayer because you can't play multiplayer. They knew this. Why would you put it on the box? They have been caught with their pants down time after time. Same thing happened with, what's his face? Crap, you have to help me because you called him on it years ago. It was about 2 years ago. I think it was Adam Boyes at the time. He said that some game was going to be 1080p 60, and then when the game came out, it wasn't on the box. It didn't get as far as the box art. But then we found out it was going to be 900p as well.
Yeah, Adam Boyes said he goes out to the EA thing. This is for Battlefield Hardline.
Yes.
He's like, and you're going to play the game at glorious 1080p, 60 frames per second, only on PlayStation 4. And then it ended up being like 900p, 30 frames per second or something.
Listen, whether you like what Microsoft's doing or not, I got to say, okay, they've really been upfront. I mean, I know we're kind of calling them out on this whole Windows 10 exclusive thing and now Steam. I personally, if I had to put if this was Vegas and I had to put my money down on a square, I would think that they had something contractually with Remedy on sales, and if sales didn't hit a certain number, Microsoft maybe thought they were going to hit that number, which is why they continued with the Windows 10 exclusive slogan. And now they're just putting all their eggs in the other basket. Which is, look, if it ends up being a trend, then we know that what I just said isn't true. But I think that's what it really is, because you're not going to see Gears and you're not going to see all these other games that they have on. I don't think you're going to see ReCore on Steam. That's me personally. I know Rand said he feels it might show up there. I don't. I think anything that's truly a Microsoft Studio game will not see the light of day on Steam. Remember, Remedy is still Remedy. Remedy's now making some Call of Duty Chinese game or something now. So Remedy's kind of lost in translation. They got a new CEO recently.
Fuck Remedy.
Yeah, Remedy's kind of they're not the company we thought they were.
What have they made? I mean, look, they make good games, but they haven't made a successful game.
Yeah, they really don't, and maybe it's the pacing of the game. I mean, I liked it, but all their pacing of their game are quite slow. That's not mimicking them. I like Alan Wake and I like Quantum Break. But yeah, now let's get into another game here, guys. We'll turn the tempo up a little bit here. Let's talk about a game that was near and dear to a lot of Xbox One fans. Me myself. Personally, shame on me for not looking, but I think I had somewhere around 300 or 400 hours logged into it. Titanfall 2 is coming out. I loved Titanfall 1. This campaign, okay, we haven't seen a lot of it, if any of it, but I've been listening to all the people that got to go. A lot of the media got treated to go to Respawn over the past 2 weeks, and they got to play 8 to 10 minutes of the campaign, and everyone's coming back with amazing reviews. Of course, the Mooch bias side of the show says, of course, now everything is glorious because it's on Sony too. But nonetheless, I am intrigued by this campaign. I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to see. We'll start with our guest, Scratch. Have you heard anybody or know anybody personally from either program you're in with Xbox that was treated to go to Respawn? Anybody you know got to play this campaign?
Not that I know of. I'm sure it's possible, but not that I know of.
You should ask Scratch about.
I could ask him.
Crackdown 3 though.
About what?
Oh, Crackdown 3?
Yeah, because you got to play Crackdown 3 this year, didn't you? Or is that NDA'd? My bad.
Oh, nice work, Rand.
We don't know. We don't know what you're talking about.
Where's that?
Yeah, right.
Scratch is like abort.
So I just ejected from my Titan.
Look at the time, man. Wow.
Hey, it's getting late.
The thing with Titanfall 2 campaign that they were talking about, I was sold because somebody had, I don't remember who it was, it might have been VentureBeat maybe, but one of them had that it reminded them of Half-Life, and that it's a little bit slower. I'm actually going to look that up now that I've said that. That's probably illegal to mention something and then not even say if it was true or not, but let me
No, you can get away with murder on YouTube. But no, what I was gonna say to you was, now I'm excited about it because Titanfall 2 is. I just love Titanfall.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, my hat goes off to Vince Zampella and his team. I mean, they were only 20. You know, here we are. We're like, let's give Sean Murray a pass. It's only 12 of them. It's only 12 of them. I think when Respawn put Titanfall out, or the initial 2 years of development, there was only 25 of them. And for the amount, for the kind of game Titanfall is versus the game that No Man's Sky is, we're getting more than double the game. So, I mean, hats off to Vince and Pella. Those guys know what the hell they're doing.
I'm totally like, I like story in a game. Like, the fast-paced, shoot 'em, wall running, assassinations, animations, that whole thing. Like, I love that for multiplayer.
Yes.
But in a game, I like, some sort of story, like to just, I don't know, just to kind of set the tone, I guess, for the game, maybe.
Absolutely.
And it was VentureBeat that their title was Titanfall 2's single-player campaign is more Half-Life than Call of Duty. And then it goes on to talk about it was a hands-off. I guess they didn't really get to play it. They just maybe saw it demoed or something.
Maybe that's what it was, Scratch. You might be right.
From what they're talking about here, I don't know that they actually got to play it, but I mean, I think they saw somebody play it from the kind of the way it was written, at least there. And that it's fast-paced and then slow-paced, so like maybe kind of like Gears, like where there's these intense battles, and then it kind of backs off a little bit to like more of like puzzle platformer type, and then different types of humor. One of the things they mentioned I thought was worth mentioning is that when the main character takes a tool from a robot, remember those robots have that like happy face on them, like the worker robots or whatever.
Yes.
And like when he takes the tool away from it, the face on the robot like turns into a frown. So like they commented on these little like comedic nuances that sort of like just kind of give it a personality, I guess. And then they also have and I'm not even being paid by VentureBeat to talk about this, but I was impressed with their article. They had a little bit of a back and forth with somebody there, and it's pretty interesting. And I'm actually super excited for this now, and I can't wait to hear more about it.
I'm gonna, and I want to ask the rest of the panel this myself personally. This has just made the game, my hype level for Titanfall 2 jumped. I purposely made a Mooch's must-have for 2016 game list today, which got a lot of press on Twitter, and I encourage a lot of other people to make their list, which is always fun to see. Titanfall 2, I had at the 2 slot, jumped way up from probably like the 5 slot to the 2 slot. I can see putting a lot of time into that. And Crap Gamer talked me into getting. I skipped Call of Duty last year because I bought Call of Duty since the day Call of Duty was Call of Duty, and I didn't think I'd be going back. Crap talked me into it more for the nostalgia. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
It is.
And I bought it for basically the Modern Warfare remaster. Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm going to say this again. Crap, if Titanfall 2 is as good as I think it is, and I think it's going to be great. I don't know. Yeah, sure. The week that Call of Duty comes out, sure, we're all going to do it, right? Everyone likes to stand in line, be with the cool kids. Here's the point. I'm going right back after about 7 days. I'm probably going to be back on Titanfall.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm a big Gears head. I've been playing a lot of Gears Ultimate again this week, but then
Gears
out of nowhere,
then
out of nowhere, my friends are like, "Hey, let's hop on Battlefield 4," and I've only played that one time, which was game night. So we hopped on that, and we're just having fun, kind of figuring out how to fly helicopters and just like crashing them after 2 seconds. So it's like I like variety. I'm gonna play Gears 4. I'm gonna be playing, Call of Duty. I'm actually excited to play the Infinite Warfare campaign. It looks like a good sci-fi story or whatever. You know what I mean? So I actually am looking forward to that. And then of course the Modern Warfare remaster, and I'm looking forward to playing through that campaign again as well.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer, like I'm sure I'll have a lot of friends that come out of the woodwork to hop back on that game because my clan was very good at that game. And so I'm looking forward to, and Titanfall 2, of course. Like I'm gonna play it all. I mean, hell, I was playing.
Do you care about the campaign crap?
Yeah, I'm a campaign first guy. I play Call of Duty campaigns first. Before I go into the multiplayer, I play Halo campaigns first before I go into the multiplayer. Yes. I play the Gears campaigns first before I go into the multiplayer. That's how I am. So, I enjoy enjoy both aspects.
Let me ask this to Jay Williams. Jay, I know you're a huge Titanfall fan.
Contrary to what Crap Gamer thinks.
Right? Oh yeah, Crap is brutal with people multiplayer. But no, Jay, did this change your opinion? I know you were going to buy Titanfall 2 anyway. I'm going to go ahead and speak for you there because I know you. But did this make it more anticipated, or I don't give a shit?
No. Like after I watched the gameplay today,
it
was that relationship between the pilot and the Titan that you've not seen before. You know, they've alluded to it in Titanfall 1, but it was almost like a Chief Cortana type relationship if you think about it.
Yeah.
How they're working with each other, they're helping each other.
And he sounds a lot like Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
It's even better.
I think that was like intentional. So yeah.
Yeah, and just watching the gameplay and like how fluid it still is from a lot of people probably don't know this, but I played Titanfall 1 and I think I regened maybe 2 to 3 times, and that's how much I liked it. Played the campaign probably twice, and I try to play it as much as I can. But just watching that gameplay today and seeing the pilot, it was almost out of the Titan at one point. The Titan stayed where it was, did what it had to do. He went and took out a couple of pilots along, he was on like a bridge or something like that, and then found another corridor, went right back down to the Titan. It was almost like a little quest that he had to do. All that stuff really intrigues me, and from what Scratch said earlier, using Half-Life 2 as a reference, I mean, I'm sold right there because Half-Life 2 is one of my favorite games ever.
I've never even played Half-Life 2 or 1 or any of that
You could
crap.
pick up the orange box on 360.
I have it. I actually have that, but I just, I don't know.
Wait, is Orange Box back compat yet?
No.
I don't think so.
And when that becomes, I had Orange Box. I played the crap out of those games, but then I don't have it anymore. I returned it a long time ago.
I bought the Orange Box for $5 digitally on a sale or something on 360.
Such a great value, man. Half-Life 2 is one of the best games ever. Team Fortress 2 is great.
Portal's
great multiplayer. Portal. But I'm for Titanfall 2, like that's multiplayer. Like, look, it's people behind Call of Duty, the originators. Like, multiplayer is going to be good. Like, you know it's going to be good. The first one was good. They're going to improve upon it. I'm not worried at all about the multiplayer. What I'm excited most about was the thing they didn't bother including the first time because they ran out of time, they ran out of money. Microsoft had to come in and save the game. We all heard the stories.
Yeah.
Is that single player. And people always tell me, even my friends, like my friends Magic and DOA, they're like, well, how's that going to work? Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, and I'm like, listen, this is the people that brought you the best Call of Duty campaign, Modern Warfare 1. They brought you a pretty goddamn good one in Call of Duty 2, the Medal of Honor games. They know how to make a good first-person shooter campaign. I have faith they're going to do Titanfall 2's campaign justice.
I just wish they wouldn't have been so like, oh, well, people don't even play the campaigns. Only 27% of people.
I know. And what do they do? They include a campaign in the second one. What is Star Wars Battlefront doing? They're including a campaign in the next one. Like,
hey, and I said this, and Rand, I think you were on the podcast when I said this. I said I hate the fact that like the games that we're getting early on in the generation aren't the full games that we're supposed to be getting, and then the sequel, they're making us buy the entire sequels to get like what should have been there to begin with.
Well, they take stuff out of the first game so they can sell you it in the second game.
Yeah.
Like, so
it's unfortunate.
I'm excited. Titanfall 2, I think, is going to be a great game, and and there's just a lot of games coming out about this year. And what do they say? The campaign's about 8 hours.
It means it's probably about 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I usually cut it in half, about 4, maybe 5, depending on especially if you're probably playing on the easiest one, you could probably mow through that shit
fast.
Average.
That's average with the Call of Duty campaigns, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, I'm sure there's probably going to be some sort of challenge. There usually is. In those games, but I'm excited, man. Like, hopefully we don't see another delay like we just supposedly saw earlier.
Yeah, I'm glad. Good segue. There breaking news, and I got to give Rand credit. Rand told me about it just before we hit the live button and broadcast. It is announced, and I think Jamie Moran's already retweeted it a bunch of times. Final Fantasy 15 is rumored to be delayed up until November 29th. So in one way, that may be really devastating news to a lot of people listening right now. But for someone like me who has at least 9 games on his fall list, to find out that this game is now going to come out at the dead end of the holiday season, I'm actually okay with it. Just because, frankly, Mafia 3 is going to be, because think about it, Gears we're going to all play. I'm not going to play Gears a lot multiplayer. It's really not my multiplayer thing. I love and adore Gears for its story. I'll probably play that through twice, so that'll get me a few weeks. But Mafia 3 is probably going to be my long-term one over the course of, because the rest of them are all multiplayer games for the most part. So to find out that I don't have to invest X amount of hours into Final Fantasy 15 is probably a good thing at this point. What do you guys think about the delay?
I don't really care. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so.
Yeah, I haven't played Final Fantasy since 7, and that was on PC in the mid '90s. So
I hope that this is the Final Fantasy. To be honest with you, I'm tired of hearing about that lame game.
Final Fantasy 7 was great, and I guess
Yeah,
I love
People
that game.
say, but I've never.
But I'm not a fan of like how the next Final Fantasy 8 comes out and has nothing to do with 7 or 10. Has nothing to do with any of them.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I just that's where they lost me, and I just kind of never went back.
Like,
but
do they not even take place on the same planets?
No, that's
I don't-
a very
It's
good.
a self-contained story, except for when they did a trilogy
Yeah,
with
every single title is supposed to be a different Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, and I can see where Scratch is coming from. I think that's probably where they lost me after 7 as well, because I thought 7 was an absolutely great game, and watching what they were doing with 15, it actually brought like that whole feeling of Final Fantasy 7 back to me. I was getting excited for the game, but then when it comes to this developer, I'm kind of used to them hemming and hawing and delaying and hesitating, and like whenever the game comes out, it comes out. That, I mean, anybody who's a fan of Final Fantasy, a fan of like Kingdom Hearts or anything like that, you guys know the drill.
Yeah.
And it's not out until it's in the stores. All right, that's just fact.
That's true. Now, the one thing I want to ask, hey, Scratch, this is something I haven't seen you tweet about, and shame on me if you have, and I haven't noticed.
I haven't. You didn't notice. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Do you have an Xbox One S yet?
I do not have an Xbox One S.
When do you get one?
I was kind of holding out. I think I'm gonna look at the Gears one.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it,
grabbing.
like, it needs to be for a different reason if I get another one. Although I was trying to get into this is just a side story. I was trying to get into a stream yesterday to play with some friends, and I was going to play on stream with them. And I picked up my phone to send one of them a text and be like, "Look, I'm logging in right now."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Okay, we won't start the game. We'll wait for you." And the cord on my phone that was plugged in on the behind my Xbox, the cord touched it, and I'm like, and shut my Xbox off, and I'm like, I am freaking going to get an S as soon as this stream is over because I want the physical button.
I do
Because
too.
where it sits on my desk,
Yeah.
I have like a split level desk like in my studio, and I'm constantly bumping it with my arm if I'm not paying attention, like to the point where like I wanted to like manufacture like maybe a little guard to put over it or something because
Yes.
I'm constantly hitting it.
No, the physical button press is huge. There's no way around it. I have at least 15 different circumstances where that thing gets brushed against, and it's so annoying. I'll come home from work, and it'll be on. I'm like, I turn to my wife. I'm like, who turned on the Xbox? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, looks like somebody dusted here. Yeah,
I've
just
had
I mean,
cats
anything
shut it
touches
off.
it. Yeah, anything touches it or even waves by it, the thing turns on. I will say, when it first came out, okay, Mooch in 2013, I thought it was neat and novel and very, very sleek. I liked it kind of embedded in. But now I'm like, no, we have to stick to a physical button. We just have to do that for life's purposes. Myself and Crap Gamer also have the Gears for what is it there? Bundle kind of ordered up. But I went ahead and hey, listen, I try to be true to my word. I told the audience, and shout out to, I'll look for his name while I'm telling the story. But Scratch, I went and actually, I'm going to be turning in my Xbox One Fat, if you will, Day 1 edition, because, I mean, GameStop's giving us $150 towards an S. So I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I got my Gears one coming, but that's October. So I said, what I got to do is I need to get this thing sooner. So for $150, now hear me out, Scratch, and tell me if this rationale makes sense. You go in, you hand them your Day 1 edition Xbox One for the 500 gig. They give you $150 value. You take $150 out of your pocket. Then you walk out with a 500 gig S That's what you've invested another $150. You know next year you're going to get at least if you're getting $150 for that fat day one 500 gig, you know you're going to get at least $150 next year towards the Scorpio. I think this is just saying, why wouldn't I go upgrade? I've been telling everybody, go as long as you have $150 to spare. I understand some people are like, Mooch, I don't have $150.
Have the money, right?
If you don't have it, this doesn't apply to you. But if you have $150, go and use this new technology for the next 13, 14 months, and then trade that one in and get your Scorpio.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too.
It's kind of like a vehicle, right? Like a lot of people buy a new vehicle, they drive it for a couple of years, and then they get another new vehicle. And there's nothing wrong with their vehicle; it still drives. They just,
want something new.
Right? They just want a different vehicle that has a physical power button. That's
my point. Why not go in and utilize that and try to get something new? That'll bother me to the nth degree, and I can't find the gentleman's name. It'll come to me in a second. But a guy made a great video, and he did a really great unboxing. Everyone does unboxings. By the way, a big Mooch pet peeve is when you're doing an unboxing, and while you open things, like apparently when you open the Xbox One S, there's a green flap that just says Xbox One, or Xbox, excuse me, and people just take like cardboard and plastic and they just throw it over their head like they're not going to go pick it up later on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why are you throwing everything all over the place like you don't own the joint? I understand when Major Nelson did it, because when he's done with the video, he's going to fix his paisley shirt, tuck in this thing, and he's going to be out of there.
Well, some intern's going to pick it up.
Some intern's going to pick it up. But these guys are doing all these unboxings at home, and they're just chucking stuff like they're on TV, and I'm like, you got to pick that up.
Right.
Put it down. Relax.
And it's like, why don't you cut the seal before you start? Or why,
yes.
Why do you have to have such a big knife? Why are you cutting towards yourself? Be careful.
Ooh, yeah, cut towards yourself. Yeah. Well, it's all about getting those, the YouTube videos now over that 10-minute mark. You don't want to have everything set up properly.
Right.
Gotta extend the time.
That's like,
hey, when I did my unboxing of my Elite console, man, I cut those tabs, all right, with pre-cut.
Well,
it's better to cut them than see people trying to use their fingernail or scrape it off, and then it goes to an obvious cut. I'm like, do you need to practice your unboxing?
That's why I'm surprised Crap hasn't done his 10-minute videos yet, because PewDiePie talked about this and stuff, and there's some secret algorithm with YouTube that if your video is over 10 minutes, maybe Scratch knows about this. I know PewDiePie talked about it. Literally, you get more ads or something like that, or some shit. So all the big YouTubers, they make sure their video is at least 10 minutes long. It'll 10:01, and a lot of people will make a 6-minute video and then just run a still frame of the thumbnail for the next 4 minutes just to make sure it's over 10 minutes.
If it's longer, you can add more ads to it, ad breaks is a new thing that they just came with.
If you get a chance, everybody, go check out. His name's Benjamin Law. Great YouTube channel. I believe he's just starting out. Guy puts his whole self out there. He's in his living room. He takes it out. He does a thorough. It's a 12-minute unboxing, but it's entertaining and it's actually useful. He actually takes the time to show you the length difference in the cable from what was the power cord with the power brick versus without it. And he just does these little things that are not so bad. I believe he also does throw everything all over the place. Apparently that's the thing to do. Well, I may be doing my first unboxing August 23rd with my first S.
I was just wondering that, Mooch. I was like, are we going to get a Mooch unboxing?
You are, and it's going to be a very neat unboxing. Okay?
We got an Iron Wolf one today. Iron Wolf.
I haven't seen Iron Wolf. Did Iron Wolf throw the boxes everywhere?
I don't know. I didn't watch it because
I haven't seen it
unboxing.
Yeah, I watched it. He wasn't very careful with things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I did? You know what I did get yesterday, Mooch?
What?
I got an email from Microsoft about the Xbox rewards, and I got $5 deposited in my Xbox Money account for having over 100,000 gamer score. $5. Oh man, I'm rolling.
Oh,
free money.
Being the crap gamer, over 100,000. Scratch over 100,000.
Did they do that 10 times for you, man?
Shit. I'm not Phil. Where's the other $45, Phil?
That's great. That's really great.
Hey,
no, this
$5 for 100,000 though. They used to give out 25 cents for your birthday, so apparently gamer score is more important than birthdays.
Before that, I remember this was a couple of years ago, they actually had this thing where you would get an email. I think it was Xbox Rewards, maybe it was something else, but they would send you an email with a birthday cake, and like
Yep,
if you cut it out, like you had a little like stand-up birthday cake, and I'm like,
That's hysterical.
people did it though. Like people took pictures of it. I'm
Hey,
like,
you guys think
actually
I'm
cut that out?
People love that shit. I don't know if you guys
They
go.
do.
I've gone to 3 or 4 different dentists in my adult. The dentist is the only business that I go to frequently that keeps sending me a birthday card. I've gone to 3 different dentists, so it's not like it's one guy. Apparently they're in cahoots. I don't know what's going on. But people like this. Now, do I keep it very long? No, this is a Seinfeld joke. But because he's a dentist, I mean, I look at it and I go, it goes right in the garbage. Where there's usually, you know, if it's a friend or a family member, a birthday card's got to sit on the mantle for an extended period of time in case there's a pop-in.
Does Crap send you a birthday card?
Crap does not send me a birthday card. No.
He doesn't send you like.
Wait a minute, guys. Don't listen. I have a rule here. We don't have to say happy birthday to each other once you pass 21. It's over. Scratch doesn't care. Nobody cares anymore. The point is now we're just waiting for retirement. Listen, I want to take this time to thank Scratch for coming on the show. We're just at the 2-hour mark, and I promised everybody an hour and a half. I did what I could. I like to talk. What can I say? But this has been a great show. This is something that like I've been wanting to have happen for a while. Scratch, thanks for coming on.
Right on, man.
Can you let everybody know in the audience how they can find you on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, or anything else I may not know about where I can find you?
Probably the easiest is just about.me/Scratch.
That's the easiest
That's
it
got
gets.
everything.
That is perfect, actually.
Scratch, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Why is your gamer tag SCRTCH? You're not able to get Scratch?
Well, Scratch was taken by somebody who hasn't logged in a really long time, but I don't know if it's not. I mean, it's still not active. It just wasn't one of the ones that was released.
Right. So
And I just wanted to just change it. I don't know.
Right, because they did implement that 5-year thing now.
Yeah, my gamer tag is Scratch without the A. Like I can't afford a vowel.
I always thought that was weird. I see you on YouTube and Twitter and everything. It's Scratch with the A, and then you get on Xbox and it's Scratch. I don't know how to say it without the A, but
yeah, like. Well, the other thing is like I just wanted something different. I think mainly because like whenever you say like what your gamer tag is, like you have to explain it. And you're like it's AKA space Scratch. There's a space, and then people like you can't even believe it. People are like, how do you spell Scratch? And I'm like Scratch, like just spell it. And then, or they'll ask, like, with a K, and I'm like, no, it's the
It gets really bad.
I mean,
people really don't.
If I had it, it still probably wouldn't be. But I just like it shorter, I think, and then also having the A gone from the front, like I don't appear at the top of every single list everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, but I like it. I like where I'm at.
No, listen, I got news for you. Scratch, do me a personal favor. Keep those great instructional videos coming. I know Mike Ibarra even retweets some of your great videos that go out, and they are very helpful. What's nice about them, too, is they're not dragged out. You keep them very short and to the point.
I have plenty of people that say, get to the point, in all caps.
Really? I think yours
yeah.
I think most of yours, and I'm going by memory.
I like to talk to.
They're between 8 and 12 minutes. I've seen some 6, 4 minutes. You got to hit 10 minutes. That's the new standard. That is the new standard.
You guys into the PewDiePie video?
Nice. Scratch, thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. Crap Gamer, where can we find you, and when are you going to be live again?
Oh, well, we have actually a video released at 8.
Sabotage.
It is. It's sabotage. I just, I schedule them. They're usually around between 12 and 1, and then I do another one between 7 and 8. So they just schedule the release, and I'll be live again BGST Sunday.
Nice.
And game night tomorrow will be Titanfall with GKB and She-Wolf and that crew. And you can find me at Crap Gamer Reviews or at @the_Crap Gamer on Twitter, and MOH Space Crap Gamer on Xbox Live. Almost 5,000, working on 5,000 followers on there.
Nice. So. Very cool. Listen, our next guy here is Graphic God. Graphic God, I want to let you know something. If you are going to participate, Crap just reminded me, if you're going to be playing in the Xbox community, I recommend everybody stop what you're doing, ignore your family and kids, and start practicing Titanfall, because She-Wolf has started on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
She practices
She
all
Well, Jay
week.
said he's gonna go on Invader's team though.
Vader. So yeah, no. If you get a chance, graphic guy, give us a hint of where we can find you and how we can get your services.
Sure. Everyone knows that I'm not a. Anyone on this panel knows that I'm not a talker. I'm a doer. So
Fact.
if you want me to do graphics for you, that's my new tagline.
I thought you were graphic dong or something like that.
Don't go there.
I would like to see. I would like to see some scratch artwork done.
Yes.
Artwork done from the graphic god. That'd be some
Yes.
good stuff.
So Scratch can find me, like everyone else, on Twitter at graphic_god. Got a website. My website is creativecommunications.ca. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all the social media, and I occasionally show up on YouTube.
Very cool.
If you
Very
want the
cool.
graphic god to make you look good, just look at my icon. He did
That's
that.
it.
The Randall soft
Or-
serve.
I was
If you
just gonna
wanna
say,
play-
man, look what he did for me, dude.
If you want to play with somebody who goes 0-8 on Titanfall, he's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they either think to.
Just kidding. I know
Hashtag exposed.
he had kids and stuff. And
Jay,
his wife
just tell
yelling
Crap
at
that
him.
you'll see him on Halo. Come on, man.
I suck at Halo.
Hey, Xbot, tell us where we can find you, and you have a show coming up tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely. As usual, next podcast is on every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. For people who follow me on Twitter, by the way, it's everything I'm on. Any social media is all Xbot448. But for people who follow me on Twitter, you've seen that one of my special guests is none other than the Zodfather himself.
Nice.
Next Gen 720 will be on tomorrow on next podcast. But I was saving it for Crossfire all day today. I got confirmation today. It's not just him, but we also are going to have Beastfire Tim Dog as well.
Nice.
Very nice.
This is
Nice.
setting up to be another huge show. Man, I was thinking about kind of like a summer spotlight in terms of guest appearances. And, of course, Mooch, Crap, you guys have absolutely made it happen. And it's just going to keep rolling from there. This is an awesome time for the next podcast.
Yeah, I did the pop in last week. I was
That
like,
was
"Whoop,
great.
Hey guys.
That was great. Well, he did a Mooch takeover, so you coming in was great because what's great is it's Xbox podcast. He gave me the right to take over, and I just started bringing people in.
Yeah, that
So
was
it
that
worked
was
out even
absolutely
better.
amazing.
So
One of the best episode we have done so far. But not only that, with Tim Dog and Next Gen coming in, I do have maybe another surprise or two. So definitely stay tuned for that. Definitely check out my channel. It's Xbot448. Check out our website with thenextpodcast.com. We have a bunch of pages on there, stuff dedicated to community podcasts, to up-and-coming YouTubers, as well as information about every single one of our panel that's on the podcast. So yeah, definitely check that out as well.
Very cool, very cool. And Rand, shout out to TXR and shout out to Victor Lucas. Great interview, and I was a big fan of I'm a big fan of his now. As you know, Adam Sessler is my #1 icon in gaming, and since he is labeled the Adam Sessler of Canada,
The Canadian Adam Sessler.
yeah. So I mean, great interview. But tell us a little more when we can catch our next interview or show with TXR.
Right, so TXR comes at you live. The best damn podcast on Monday nights.
Boom.
That's how we do. 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern. We're gonna have a regular show this week. Everybody should be back. No interview that I'm aware of. So, but we are gonna be announcing a fucking huge giveaway. And I told Crap and I told you, Mooch, what the giveaway
It is huge.
It's
It's
huge.
a fucking we're entering
Yeah,
it.
we're
so-
participating. So
Yeah, so be on the lookout. We'll announce it during the show. It's going to be absolutely massive and should make everybody happy. So, yeah, see you guys on Monday. And then
Very
maybe Saturday. But then we won't talk about that just yet.
we'll see what's going on. I do want to let everybody know that is still listening and catches us throughout the week. Crossfire will happen next Friday. It's going to be at another unusual time. We won't be at 6 p.m. It might be a little bit earlier. It's actually going to be earlier in the day. So we'll see who we can get for the panel. I'll keep everyone posted throughout the week. I want to thank Scratch again, our special guest. And thanks to all the ambassadors and MVPs that help out. They really do contribute and make changes behind the scenes that better the gaming community. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the panel. And we'll see you next week on Crossfire. Thanks, buddy.